Build your discipline, build your future. Before we dive into this audiobook, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to support us and help us share more useful content. Introduction. Discipline is one of the most powerful forces in a person's life, yet it is also one of the most misunderstood. Many people think that discipline is something difficult, something painful, or something that belongs only to strict people, soldiers, or high performers. But the truth is very different. Discipline is not about punishment, force, or pressure. It is about direction. It is about choosing a path and staying on it, even when your feelings or mood change. Discipline is the quiet strength inside you that helps you do the right thing, even when no one is watching. It is the ability to make a decision today that benefits your future self. When you build discipline, you are not just building habits, you are building a future, step by step, day by day. Most people rely on motivation to move forward. Motivation feels exciting in the beginning, but motivation is temporary. It rises quickly and falls quickly. You may wake up one morning full of energy, ready to study, exercise, or start a new project. But the next day, the motivation disappears and everything feels difficult again. This is why so many people start strong but fail to continue. They depend on emotions instead of discipline. Discipline, unlike motivation, does not change with your mood. It is stable. It is a decision, not a feeling. When you act with discipline, you are choosing to follow your goals even when you feel tired, bored, stressed, or unmotivated. This is why discipline is the secret ingredient behind success stories, because it keeps a person moving even when the road becomes uncomfortable. In this book, you will learn how powerful discipline truly is and how it can transform every part of your life. Discipline improves the way you think, the way you work, the way you study, and even the way you interact with other people. When you gain discipline, you gain control. You are no longer pushed around by your emotions, fears, or temptations. Instead, you begin to build a stable foundation for your future. You start to become the kind of person who keeps promises, not just to others, but to yourself. This internal trust is one of the greatest gifts discipline gives you. When you trust yourself, your confidence grows and your actions become stronger and clearer. This book is not about unrealistic rules or extreme routines. It is about learning how to guide your mind, your actions, and your habits so you can move toward the future you want. You will discover that discipline is not the enemy. It is the friend that pushes you forward when your motivation disappears. It is the voice inside you saying, "Keep going. You can do this. Your future is waiting." If you are reading this book, it means you want to grow. It means you want to change. It means you care about your future. That alone is a powerful beginning. Now, together, let us build your discipline, step by step, and shape the future you deserve. Your journey starts now.
Chapter 1. What is discipline? Discipline is a word that many people use, but very few truly understand. Some think discipline means forcing yourself to do something you hate. Others imagine harsh rules, strict routines, or a kind of pressure that removes freedom. But real discipline is not about force or punishment. Real discipline is about direction, clarity, and control. It is the ability to make choices that bring you closer to your goals, even when those choices are not easy. Discipline is saying yes to what matters and no to what distracts you. It is building the power to guide your life instead of allowing your life to guide you. In this sense, discipline is not something outside you. It is something you build inside yourself. To understand discipline clearly, we must first separate it from motivation. People often confuse the two, but they work very differently. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings come and go. Motivation is like the weather. Sometimes the sky is bright and clear, and other times it is dark and heavy. Motivation can give you a good start, but it cannot carry you to the finish line. Discipline, on the other hand, is like the ground beneath your feet, steady, solid, and always there. It does not depend on how you feel. Discipline is a decision, a promise, an internal agreement you make with yourself. When you act with discipline, you are saying, I choose to do this because it will help me grow, even if you are tired, bored, or stressed. This is why disciplined people achieve more, not because they always feel inspired, but because they act even when they don't. Another way to understand discipline is to see it as a bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Imagine your goals as a distant place, a place you can see clearly in your mind but cannot reach immediately. There is a long road between you and that place. Motivation is what makes you start walking, but discipline is what makes you keep walking when the road becomes long, quiet, or difficult. Without discipline, you stop halfway. With discipline, you keep going until you arrive. This is why discipline changes lives. It allows ordinary people to achieve extraordinary things simply by remaining consistent. Discipline also has different forms, and understanding them will help you use discipline in the right way. The first form is self-discipline, the ability to control your actions. This means studying when you want to relax, saving money instead of spending it, working on your goals instead of wasting time. Self-discipline is the foundation of every achievement, from learning a new skill to building a business. The second form is mental discipline, the ability to guide your thoughts. This means focusing on what you can control, staying calm, and not letting fear or doubt rule your decisions. Mental discipline helps you think clearly when life becomes stressful. The third form is emotional discipline, the ability to manage your reactions. This means responding with patience instead of anger, staying steady in difficult moments, and controlling your urges. Emotional discipline helps you maintain healthy relationships and make wise choices. When all three forms work together, you become strong from the inside out.
One of the biggest misconceptions about discipline is that it makes life harder. In reality, the opposite is true. Discipline actually makes life easier, not harder. Without discipline, life becomes chaotic. Deadlines are missed, opportunities disappear, health declines, and stress grows. Without discipline, every day becomes unpredictable because you are constantly reacting to problems instead of preventing them. With discipline, you create structure and stability. Yes, discipline requires effort at the beginning, but it saves you from much bigger problems later. A disciplined person studies a little every day, so exams become easier. A disciplined person exercises regularly, so their body stays strong. A disciplined person manages money wisely, so financial problems do not control their life. In this way, discipline protects you. To understand discipline even better, imagine a river. If a river has no direction, the water spreads everywhere, slow and weak. But if you create a channel for the river, the water becomes powerful and focused. Human energy works the same way. Without discipline, your time, thoughts, and actions spread in many directions, and you achieve little. But with discipline, your energy becomes focused, and you can achieve far more than you imagined. This is why disciplined people often seem more productive. They are not stronger or smarter, they are simply more focused. Another important element of discipline is routine. Many people underestimate the power of doing small things every day. A routine may seem boring, but it is one of the greatest tools for building discipline. When you repeat an action many times, your brain begins to do it automatically. This means you use less energy and face less resistance. At first, waking up early may feel difficult, but after several weeks, your mind and body adjust. At first, studying every evening may feel tiring, but soon it becomes part of your normal day. When you build routines, discipline becomes easier because your habits do the work for you. This book will teach you how to build routines that support your goals. Discipline is also closely connected to sacrifice, but not in a negative way. Sacrifice simply means choosing what matters most over what matters less. For example, choosing to study for 1 hour instead of watching TV is a small sacrifice, but it brings you closer to your goals. Choosing to exercise instead of scrolling on your phone is another small sacrifice, but it strengthens your health. Disciplined people understand a simple truth. Every yes is also a no. When you say yes to one thing, you say no to something else. If you say yes to your goals, you say no to distractions. If you say yes to growth, you say no to excuses. Discipline teaches you how to make these choices wisely.
It is also important to know that discipline is not about perfection. Many people quit their goals because they make one mistake and feel that it is over. They miss one study session, skip one workout, or break one habit, and they think they have failed completely. But discipline is not about never falling. It is about standing up every time you fall. A disciplined person expects mistakes, but they do not allow mistakes to stop them. They restart, adjust, and continue. One bad day does not define your future. What defines your future is how quickly you return to your path. When you build discipline, you also build resilience, the ability to continue despite obstacles. Discipline also helps you develop confidence. Many people believe confidence comes from talent, appearance, or success, but lasting confidence comes from self-trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your belief that you can rely on your own actions. This builds a deep kind of confidence that no one can take away. When you say, "I will study for 30 minutes," and you actually do it, you build trust. When you say, "I will finish this project," and you finish it, you build trust. Over time, this trust becomes powerful. You begin to see yourself as a disciplined, capable person, and this identity shapes your future choices. Another key idea in discipline is the difference between urgent tasks and important tasks. Most people spend their time on things that feel urgent: messages, small tasks, notifications, or distractions. These things feel immediate, but they do not build a future. Important tasks are the things that help you grow: reading, learning, planning, exercising, improving your skills. A disciplined person knows how to make time for important tasks before urgent ones. They understand that the future is built slowly through many small choices. This chapter will help you understand discipline as the art of choosing what matters most. Finally, discipline is deeply connected to freedom. This may sound surprising because people often think discipline limits freedom, but think carefully. Freedom without discipline leads to chaos, and chaos removes freedom. For example, if you have no discipline with money, you end up in debt, and debt removes freedom. If you have no discipline with time, your schedule becomes full of stress, and stress removes freedom. If you have no discipline with health, your body becomes weak, and weakness removes freedom. Discipline, on the other hand, gives you control over your life. When you control your habits, your choices, and your actions, you gain true freedom. You gain the freedom to pursue goals, to enjoy health, to learn new things, and to live without unnecessary stress.
In the end, discipline is not a punishment. It is a gift. It is not the enemy of your happiness. It is the foundation of your happiness. Discipline does not make life smaller. It makes life bigger because it gives you the power to build the life you want. Understanding what discipline truly is and removing the old myths surrounding it is the first step to building a stronger future. In the next chapters, you will learn why people lose discipline, how the mind works, and how to rebuild discipline using simple steps that anyone can follow. Your journey is just beginning, and with each chapter, you will gain the tools to build a disciplined, confident, and successful version of yourself.
Chapter 2. Why we lose discipline. If discipline is so powerful and so important, then why do so many people lose it? Why do we start projects with excitement but stop after a few days? Why do we promise ourselves to change only to return to old habits? Why is it so hard to stay consistent even when we know what we should do? The answer is not that people are lazy or weak. The truth is more complex and more hopeful. People lose discipline because the human mind is designed in a certain way. Understanding this design helps you stop judging yourself and start working with your mind instead of fighting against it. In this chapter, we will explore the main reasons why discipline disappears, and by understanding these reasons, you will be better prepared to build discipline that lasts. One of the biggest reasons people lose discipline is that the brain naturally seeks comfort. This is not a flaw, it is a survival strategy. Thousands of years ago, humans needed to save energy to survive. The brain learned to avoid anything difficult, tiring, or uncertain. Even today, the brain still wants the easiest path. When you think about studying, exercising, or working on a project, your brain immediately looks for a more comfortable option. Relaxing, watching videos, scrolling through your phone, or doing anything that feels easy and familiar. This is why discipline feels difficult at the beginning. It goes against the brain's instinct to conserve effort. But with practice, the brain adapts and discipline becomes easier. Another major reason discipline disappears is that people expect results too quickly. We live in a world built on speed. Fast internet, fast food, fast entertainment. Many people want fast success as well. They want to see progress immediately. When results do not appear quickly, when the body does not change in 1 week, when skills do not improve in a few days, when studying does not give instant rewards, people become discouraged. They lose patience and stop. The truth is that meaningful progress takes time. Discipline feels difficult because you often work without seeing visible results at first. The seeds you plant today may take weeks or months to grow. People who understand this stay consistent, but people who expect immediate results lose discipline. Procrastination is another powerful force that destroys discipline. Procrastination is not simply laziness, it is a psychological response to discomfort. When a task feels boring, confusing, or overwhelming, the brain tries to escape the discomfort by delaying the task. "I'll do it later," the brain says. "I need to rest first," or "I will start tomorrow." These thoughts feel comforting and they reduce stress in the moment, but the delay creates more stress later. People often feel guilty after procrastinating, and this guilt weakens discipline even more. Breaking the cycle of procrastination requires understanding why your brain is trying to avoid the task. Once you recognize the emotional discomfort behind procrastination, you can respond in a healthier way instead of escaping.
Another reason people lose discipline is that they try to change too much at once. When someone decides to improve their life, they often set big goals: waking up early, studying for hours, exercising daily, eating perfectly, and working on multiple projects. At first, this feels exciting, but big changes require big energy, and the brain quickly becomes overwhelmed. When the effort becomes too heavy, motivation disappears, and discipline collapses. The key to discipline is not massive change, but small, manageable steps. Small steps do not overwhelm the brain. They slowly build strength. The mistake many people make is expecting discipline to appear instantly, like switching on a light. But discipline grows gradually, like building a muscle. Fear also plays a surprising role in destroying discipline. Many people avoid discipline because they are afraid of failure. They think, what if I try and still fail? What if I am not good enough? What if people judge me? These fears often hide beneath the surface, and people do not always notice them. But fear quietly pushes people toward comfort and away from responsibility. If you never start, you cannot fail. If you never commit, you never have to face your weaknesses. But avoiding action because of fear slowly damages discipline. To grow discipline, you must accept that failure is part of the journey. Every successful person failed many times, but discipline allowed them to continue. Losing discipline often means fear has taken control of your decisions. The environment around us is another major enemy of discipline. We live in a world full of distractions.
Social media, notifications, instant entertainment, endless videos and posts. Companies design apps to capture your attention, keep you scrolling, and make you return again and again. These distractions are powerful because they activate the brain's reward system. Every time you receive a message, a like, or a new post, your brain releases a small amount of pleasure. This makes you want more. Over time, your attention becomes fragmented. It becomes harder to focus on important tasks because your brain is trained to seek quick, easy rewards. Discipline becomes harder in a distracted environment, not because you are weak, but because the world is designed to break your focus. Another factor that leads to lost discipline is the absence of clear goals. When you do not know exactly what you want, it becomes difficult to stay consistent. Vague goals like "I want to be successful," "I want to study more," or "I want to get healthier" are not specific enough to guide your actions. Without clear direction, discipline has no target. It becomes easy to postpone tasks or forget them entirely. Clarity creates purpose, and purpose strengthens discipline. When you know exactly why you are doing something and what result you are aiming for, you are far more likely to stay consistent.
People also lose discipline because they do not track their progress. The brain needs evidence that your effort is working. Without evidence, the brain becomes discouraged. For example, if you exercise every day but never notice any improvement, you may feel like it is pointless. If you study daily but never see results, you may think you are wasting time. But often, progress is happening slowly, too slowly to notice without tracking. When people fail to see progress, they lose motivation and eventually lose discipline. Tracking progress, even in simple ways, helps you see that your effort is meaningful, which strengthens your commitment. A lack of routine also affects discipline. When your days have no structure, it becomes easy to lose time, forget priorities, and fall into distractions. Routines reduce decision-making, which reduces stress. Without routines, people rely on willpower alone, and willpower is limited. Discipline is not meant to fight against every challenge manually. It is meant to work with routines that support your goals. When you do not have routines, discipline fades quickly, like water in an open container. When you do have routines, discipline becomes automatic, like a river flowing through a well-designed channel. Social influence is another factor that quietly weakens discipline. The people around you shape your habits more than you realize. If your friends or family members have no discipline, it becomes harder for you to maintain yours. If the people around you waste time, complain, or avoid effort, their behavior slowly becomes normal to you. Humans are social creatures, and we often copy the habits of those around us. This is why many people lose discipline when they enter the wrong environment. On the other hand, being around disciplined people strengthens your discipline. The energy around you affects your decisions, even when you do not notice it. Emotional states also play a major role. When a person feels stressed, sad, anxious, or overwhelmed, their ability to maintain discipline decreases. Emotional discomfort drains mental energy, and discipline requires mental energy. When you feel emotionally heavy, the brain wants to avoid anything that adds more pressure. This leads to escaping into comfort and losing discipline. Many people think they lack discipline, but the real problem is unmanaged emotions. When you improve emotional balance, discipline becomes easier because your mind has more strength.
Another reason discipline disappears is that people do not rest properly. Rest and discipline are connected. A tired mind cannot maintain focus, and a tired body cannot maintain consistency. Many people try to push themselves without giving their mind or body time to recover. Over time, exhaustion builds up and discipline collapses. True discipline is not constant pressure, it is balanced effort. Knowing when to rest, when to slow down, and when to take care of your well-being is part of being a disciplined person. Without rest, even the strongest discipline eventually breaks. Finally, people lose discipline because they do not understand themselves. They do not know what triggers their distractions, what time of day they work best, what environments help them focus, or what habits damage their routine. When you lack self-awareness, you cannot design a system that supports your discipline. You cannot fix what you do not understand.
This book will help you become more aware of your patterns so you can build discipline that matches your personality and lifestyle. Understanding why discipline is lost is essential because it removes blame. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are human. Your brain, your emotions, your environment, and your fears are all part of the picture. When you understand these forces, you can begin to control them. Instead of fighting yourself, you start working with yourself. Instead of forcing discipline, you learn how to build it naturally. The truth is simple. Discipline is not lost because of one single reason. It fades because of many small pressures: comfort, distraction, fear, impatience, lack of clarity, emotional struggle, and overwhelmed routines. But the good news is that each of these pressures can be managed. When you understand them, you can build strategies to protect your discipline. You can create an environment that supports you, habits that guide you, routines that simplify your day, and goals that inspire you. You can build a mind that moves toward growth even when life becomes difficult. Losing discipline does not mean you cannot regain it. In fact, the moment you understand why discipline disappears, you become stronger than before. You begin to see that discipline is not about being perfect. It is about being aware, patient, and consistent. In the next chapter, you will learn how discipline grows, how habits form in the brain, and how you can use simple, scientific methods to build discipline step by step. With this knowledge, you will never see discipline the same way again.
Chapter 3: The Science of Building Discipline. Discipline does not come from magic, talent, or personality. It comes from understanding how your mind works and using that knowledge to your advantage. Many people believe that disciplined individuals are simply born different, as if they have a special power that others do not. But the truth is far more encouraging. Discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it can be built, strengthened, and improved. What appears to be natural discipline is actually the result of consistent practice, simple systems, and an understanding of how habits are formed in the brain. In this chapter, you will learn the science behind discipline, how habits are created, how to overcome resistance, and how to train your mind to follow through even when motivation disappears. The human brain is designed to save energy. Every decision you make requires mental effort. The more decisions you must make in a day, the more tired your brain becomes. This is called decision fatigue, and it is one of the main reasons people lose discipline by the end of the day. If you spend the morning making many small decisions, what to wear, what to eat, what task to start, when to start, how long to work, your mental energy slowly decreases. Eventually, you reach a point where your brain wants the easiest possible action. This is when people begin to procrastinate, skip important tasks, or fall back into old habits. Understanding this is important because it shows why routines and structure make discipline easier. When you have a routine, you remove many small decisions. The more automatic your day becomes, the more mental energy you save for important tasks. Another key part of discipline is understanding how habits are formed. Every habit follows a three-step loop: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is what triggers the behavior. The routine is the action itself. The reward is the feeling or result you get afterward. For example, if your cue is feeling bored, your routine might be opening social media, and your reward is a quick feeling of entertainment. This loop becomes stronger every time you repeat it. The brain learns that the routine leads to a reward, and it encourages you to repeat the behavior again and again. This is why bad habits feel automatic. They have been repeated so many times that the brain treats them as normal. To build discipline, you must use this same loop, but in a smarter way. Instead of trying to break a bad habit through force, you replace the routine with a better one. For example, if your cue is feeling stressed, instead of opening your phone, you might take a deep breath, drink water, or stretch for 1 minute. The cue stays the same, but the routine changes. You then give yourself a small reward, like a moment of relaxation or a quick pause to breathe. Over time, the brain learns the new loop.
This technique is powerful because it works with the brain instead of against it.
Another important element is activation energy, the energy required to start a task. Many tasks are not difficult once you begin. The real difficulty is starting. For example, studying for 2 hours may sound hard, but opening the book for 2 minutes is much easier. Exercising for 30 minutes feels heavy, but putting on your shoes takes only a few seconds. When you reduce the energy needed to start, you make the task easier for your brain. One of the best strategies is the 2-minute rule. Whenever you start a habit, do it for just 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, your brain is already in motion, and continuing becomes much easier. This method works because it removes the psychological resistance that blocks discipline. Resistance is one of the biggest enemies of discipline. Resistance is the feeling of not wanting to do something, even when you know it is important. It comes from the emotional part of the brain, which prefers comfort. When resistance appears, it often creates excuses. I'm tired. I'll do it later. I don't feel ready. Many people believe these excuses, but they are simply emotional reactions, not logical decisions. The most effective way to overcome resistance is to start before your brain has time to argue. The first 30 seconds are the most important. If you act immediately, before the excuses grow stronger, you weaken resistance and strengthen discipline. This is why people say, just start. Once you begin, the brain shifts into a more focused state, and the resistance fades. Another powerful concept in discipline is the idea of identity-based habits. Many people try to build discipline by focusing on the result. I want good grades. I want a strong body. I want more money. But results are temporary. If you want discipline to last, you must focus on identity, who you want to become. When you see yourself as a disciplined student, a healthy person, or a responsible adult, your actions naturally follow that identity. Identity shapes behavior. A person who believes they are good at studying is more likely to study regularly. A person who sees themselves as fit is more likely to exercise. When you change your identity, you change your habits. This shift is slow but powerful. Every time you follow through on a habit, you give your brain evidence of your new identity. Over time, you become the kind of person who acts with discipline, naturally, not through force.
Environment also plays a huge role in building discipline. Your surroundings influence your habits more than you may realize. If your environment is full of distractions, your mind will constantly drift. If your environment is organized and simple, your mind will focus more easily. A cluttered desk makes studying harder. A phone on the table makes concentration difficult. Removing distractions from your environment is one of the simplest and most effective ways to build discipline. In the science of habit formation, this is known as environmental design, and it works because it reduces the need for willpower. When tasks become easier to start and distractions become harder to reach, discipline grows almost effortlessly. Another important scientific principle is the dopamine cycle. Dopamine is a chemical in the brain that creates feelings of anticipation and motivation. When you expect a reward, dopamine rises. This is why checking your phone feels irresistible. Your brain expects something interesting. But dopamine can also support discipline. When you connect pleasure with productive activities, your brain begins to crave those activities. For example, if you listen to calm music while studying or stretch after exercising, your brain starts to associate these activities with good feelings. You can train your brain to enjoy discipline by pairing difficult tasks with pleasant rewards. This is not cheating, it is smart psychology. The brain also works more effectively when it has a clear sense of direction. This is why vague goals weaken discipline. The brain needs to know exactly what to do. When goals are unclear, the mind becomes confused and procrastination increases. But when goals are specific, exact time, exact place, exact action, the brain follows them more easily.
This is known as an implementation intention, and it is one of the strongest tools in behavioral science. For example, instead of saying, I will study tonight, you say, I will study from 7 to 7:30 at my desk. This simple structure increases the chances of success dramatically because the brain knows exactly when and where to act. Another scientific truth about discipline is that the brain loves small wins. When you complete a task, even a tiny one, your brain releases dopamine, creating a sense of achievement. This encourages you to continue. Small wins build momentum, and momentum builds discipline. This is why breaking large tasks into small steps is so effective. Instead of trying to finish an entire project in one day, you break it into pieces. Each piece completed strengthens your discipline. People who rely only on big achievements often feel discouraged and stop, but people who focus on small wins build discipline quietly and steadily.
The science of discipline also teaches us that rest is not a luxury, it is a requirement. The brain has a limited amount of focus each day. When you push yourself too hard, your ability to concentrate weakens and discipline becomes harder to maintain. Taking short breaks refreshes your mind and restores your ability to focus. The Pomodoro technique, for example, working for 25 minutes and resting for 5, works because it aligns with how the brain naturally functions. Even longer-term rest like sleeping well at night has a massive impact on discipline. A tired brain struggles with self-control, decision-making, and motivation. Rest strengthens discipline by giving your brain the energy it needs to stay consistent. One of the most misunderstood ideas about discipline is the role of willpower. Willpower is limited. You cannot rely on it for every decision. This is why relying solely on willpower leads to burnout and failure. Willpower is like a battery. It can help you start, but it cannot support you all day. Habits, routines, environment, and identity are the real sources of long-term discipline. When you create systems that support your goals, you no longer need to force yourself. Discipline becomes natural rather than forced, smooth rather than stressful. The final scientific idea that shapes discipline is the concept of delayed gratification. This is the ability to choose a long-term reward over a short-term pleasure. The classic example is the marshmallow test, where children who could wait to eat one marshmallow eventually received two. Those who could delay gratification later showed better life outcomes in studies, higher achievement, better focus, and stronger discipline. This skill is not genetic, it can be trained. When you practice choosing long-term benefits over short-term pleasures, your brain becomes stronger. You become more patient, more focused, and more capable of consistent action. Understanding the science of discipline transforms the way you see yourself. You realize that discipline is not about being strong all the time. It is about creating a life that makes discipline easier. It is about working with your brain's natural patterns instead of fighting against them. When you understand how habits work, how the brain responds to cues, how routines form, how dopamine influences motivation, how environment shapes behavior, and how identity drives action, you gain a new kind of power. The power to build discipline intentionally, not accidentally.
This scientific foundation is essential for the next chapters, where you will learn how to apply discipline to your daily life. You will see how to build morning routines that support your goals, how to stay focused, how to control your emotions, and how to maintain discipline in school, health, finances, and relationships. With this understanding, you are no longer guessing. You are building discipline with clarity, confidence, and purpose. Chapter 4. Daily Habits That Build a Strong Mind. A strong and disciplined mind is not something you are born with. It is something you build day after day through small actions and simple habits. Many people believe they need big routines or extreme effort to strengthen their mind, but the truth is much simpler. Your daily habits shape your future more than any single moment of inspiration. A disciplined life is created through repeated actions, not sudden changes. When you train your mind with small, consistent habits, discipline becomes a natural part of who you are. In this chapter, you will learn practical, easy-to-follow habits that support mental strength, focus, organization, and personal growth. The first habit of a strong mind is starting your day with intention.
Many people begin their morning in chaos, waking up late, rushing, checking notifications, or reacting to stress. When you start your day without control, your mind becomes scattered and weak. But when you start your day with intention, you give your mind direction. This does not require waking up at 5 a.m. or doing complicated routines. It simply means beginning your morning with a small action that sets the tone for the rest of the day. It could be stretching for 1 minute, drinking water, sitting in silence for a moment, or writing a short plan. These small actions tell your mind, I am in control. A calm beginning creates a disciplined day. Another important habit is planning your day. Planning is not about controlling every minute, it is about giving your mind clarity. When you do not plan, your brain wastes energy trying to decide what to do next. This creates stress, which weakens discipline. But when you write down your top 3 tasks for the day, just 3, you create focus. The mind becomes relaxed because it knows what to do. You avoid confusion and save time. Planning also reduces procrastination because you no longer ask yourself, what should I do right now? Instead, you follow the plan. Even if you complete only one important task, you still move forward.
A strong mind also depends on the habit of single tasking. Many people try to do several things at once, studying while checking their phone, working while watching videos, or talking while scrolling. This weakens the mind. The brain cannot focus on 2 things at the same time. What people call multitasking is actually switching attention rapidly, which increases stress and reduces quality. To build discipline, train your mind to do one thing at a time. When you study, only study. When you eat, only eat. When you rest, only rest. This simple habit increases your focus, improves your productivity, and strengthens your mental muscles. The ability to focus is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Another valuable habit is creating a clean environment. Your surroundings shape your mind more than you may realize. A messy desk creates a messy mind. A cluttered room creates a cluttered set of thoughts. When your environment is full of distractions, your brain struggles to think clearly. But when your space is clean and organized, your mind becomes calmer and more focused. You do not need a perfect home or a fancy workspace. You simply need a space where your mind feels free. Cleaning for even 5 minutes a day can create a huge difference in your discipline. When your environment supports your goals, your mind becomes stronger naturally. One of the most powerful habits is protecting your attention. Modern life is full of distractions, messages, notifications, endless videos, and constant noise. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and every distraction steals a little bit of your mental strength. To build a strong mind, you must learn to protect your attention like a treasure. This means turning off notifications when you study or work, placing your phone away from you, avoiding endless scrolling, and giving yourself time away from screens. When you control your attention, you control your life. You begin to notice that your mind becomes clearer, your thoughts become sharper, and your discipline becomes stronger.
Another essential habit is the practice of reflection. Many people move through life without evaluating their actions. They repeat the same mistakes, fall into the same distractions, and wonder why nothing changes. Reflection allows you to learn from your experiences. You can ask yourself simple questions at the end of the day. What did I do well today? What did I learn? What can I improve tomorrow? These small reflections give your mind direction. They help you grow. They show you your progress. Reflection builds discipline because it connects your daily actions with your long-term goals. A strong mind also grows through the habit of reading. You do not need to read a full book every week. Even reading a few pages a day strengthens your mind. Reading exposes you to new ideas, improves your vocabulary, increases your understanding, and sharpens your thinking. It also helps you escape the constant flood of quick, shallow content found online. When you read, you train your brain to focus for longer periods. You open your mind to wisdom.
You gain knowledge that shapes your discipline. Many successful people read not because they have time, but because reading gives them time by improving their decision-making and thinking. Another habit that builds discipline is doing difficult things on purpose. This does not mean hurting yourself or choosing suffering. It simply means training your mind to handle discomfort. For example, taking a cold shower for a few seconds, walking an extra distance, waking up a little earlier, or studying for 5 minutes longer than planned. These small acts teach your brain that discomfort is temporary and manageable. When your mind learns to handle small challenges, bigger challenges become easier. You train your willpower like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it grows.
Another valuable daily habit is gratitude. Gratitude may seem unrelated to discipline, but it plays a powerful role in mental strength. When you practice gratitude, you fuel your mind with positive energy. You focus not on what you lack, but on what you have. This reduces stress, increases motivation, and improves emotional control. A grateful mind is calmer, less reactive, and more disciplined. You can practice gratitude by writing down 3 things you are thankful for each day, no matter how small. Gratitude brings balance to your life and strengthens your mental resilience. Physical movement is also a major part of building a strong mind. You do not need to become an athlete. Even 10 to 15 minutes of movement, stretching, walking, breathing deeply, helps your brain function better. Exercise boosts mood, increases focus, reduces anxiety, and strengthens willpower. A healthy body supports a disciplined mind. When your blood flows and your muscles move, your brain becomes more alert. Movement is not only good for your body, it is essential for your mind. Another important habit is rest. Many people think discipline means working without stopping, but rest is part of discipline. Rest allows your mind to recover, reset, and grow. A tired mind cannot stay disciplined. Rest does not mean scrolling for hours or distracting yourself. True rest involves sleep, quiet time, simple activities, and moments of stillness. When you rest properly, you wake up with more energy and more control. Rest strengthens discipline by giving your mind the fuel it needs to remain consistent. To build a strong mind, you must also practice the habit of respecting your own promises. When you say you will do something, do it, even if you start small. If you promise yourself to study for 10 minutes, honor that promise. If you say you will drink water every morning, follow through. Keeping promises to yourself builds trust. That trust becomes confidence. Confidence becomes discipline. Every fulfilled promise strengthens your identity as a disciplined person. This is one of the most powerful habits of all.
Another habit that supports discipline is setting boundaries. Many people lose discipline because they give too much time, energy, or attention to others. They say yes when they want to say no. They allow interruptions, distractions, or demands to control their day. Setting boundaries does not mean being rude. It means protecting your goals. It means respecting your time. It means saying, I will talk later. I need to finish this first, or I cannot do that right now. When you set boundaries, you take control of your mental space. You create room for discipline to grow. Finally, one of the most effective habits for a strong mind is ending each day with intention, just as you begin it. Your nighttime routine shapes your next morning. Ending your day calmly helps your mind rest better and reduces stress. This can include putting away your phone, writing down tomorrow's plan, reading a few pages, or spending a few minutes in silence. Ending the day intentionally gives your mind a smooth, peaceful transition into rest, and this supports discipline in the long run. When these habits become part of your daily life, discipline stops being something you fight for and becomes something that surrounds you naturally. You no longer force yourself to be disciplined. Your habits carry you forward. Each small habit acts like a brick in the foundation of a strong mind. Over time, these bricks build a structure that can handle challenges, distractions, stress, and change. You become more focused, more patient, more consistent, and more confident. Discipline is not built in one day. It grows through hundreds of small choices.
But each choice makes you stronger. Each habit shapes your identity. Each day brings you closer to the future you want. The next chapters will show you how to apply these habits in school, health, finances, relationships, and long-term goals. With a strong mind, every area of your life becomes easier to manage, and discipline becomes the engine that moves you forward.
Chapter 5. Discipline in School and Learning. Success in school is not about being the smartest person in the class. It is not about having the most expensive books, the best teachers, or special talent. The real foundation of success in learning is discipline. A disciplined student is not perfect, but they are consistent. They study even when they do not feel motivated. They finish homework even when they are tired. They take small, steady steps every day instead of waiting until the last minute. In this chapter, we will explore how discipline transforms your learning, how to study effectively, how to avoid procrastination, and how to become a student who grows stronger with time. Many students believe that studying requires motivation. They wait until they feel ready, but this feeling rarely comes. If learning depended only on motivation, most people would give up after a week. Real learning depends on discipline, on showing up even when you are not in the mood. Discipline helps you begin, and once you begin, learning becomes easier. The hardest part of studying is not the studying itself, it is starting. When you overcome that first barrier, your brain enters a focused state, and everything becomes more manageable. This is why disciplined students begin their work quickly and avoid overthinking. They understand that starting is half the victory. One of the greatest strengths of a disciplined learner is consistency. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Studying for 15 minutes every day is more effective than studying for 3 hours once a week. Small daily sessions help your brain remember information more easily. When you review something often, your brain strengthens the memory pathway. But when you try to memorize everything in one night, your brain becomes overwhelmed and forgets most of it. Consistency also reduces stress. When you study regularly, you never reach a point of panic or last-minute fear. You feel calm because you are prepared. To build discipline in school, you must first create a study routine. This does not need to be complicated. Choose a time every day when you will study, even if it is only for a short period. When your brain sees that you study at the same time, it becomes a habit. You no longer fight with yourself wondering whether to study or not. You simply follow the routine. The mind relaxes because the decision is already made. The more stable your routine becomes, the easier discipline feels.
Another essential part of discipline learning is having a designated study space. Your environment communicates with your brain. When you study in the same place daily, whether it is a desk, a table, or even a quiet corner, your brain learns that this place is for learning. When you sit there, your mind automatically begins to focus. A good study space does not need fancy decorations. It simply needs to be clean, quiet, and free from distractions. When your environment supports learning, your discipline grows without effort. Of course, one of the biggest challenges students face is procrastination. Procrastination is the habit of delaying important tasks. It often appears when a subject feels difficult, boring, or overwhelming. Instead of facing the task, your brain searches for something easier: a phone, a snack, a video, or a conversation. But procrastination does not remove the task. It only increases pressure later. A disciplined student learns to act before procrastination takes control. One powerful strategy is the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself you will study for only 5 minutes. This removes the fear and resistance. Once those 5 minutes begin, your brain warms up and you often continue naturally. The hardest part is beginning, and the 5-minute rule helps you overcome that barrier. Another source of lost discipline is distraction, especially digital distraction. Phones, social media, and messaging apps are designed to pull your attention. Every notification interrupts your focus. Even if you do not check your phone, hearing it vibrate weakens your concentration.
A disciplined learner protects their study time by turning off notifications, placing the phone out of reach, or using apps that block distractions. This is not about punishment, it is about protecting your mind. Every time you resist a distraction, you strengthen your mental muscles. Focus is a skill, and the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. A powerful technique for disciplined learning is breaking large tasks into small pieces. When a task looks big, like a long assignment or a difficult chapter, it can feel impossible. Your brain becomes anxious and discipline weakens. But when you break the task into small, simple steps, it becomes manageable. Instead of saying, I must study the whole chapter, say, I will study 2 pages. Instead of, I will complete the entire project, say, I will write the introduction. Small steps reduce stress and increase confidence. Every small win builds momentum. Momentum is one of the greatest tools in disciplined learning, because once you begin moving forward, it becomes easier to keep going.
Another important habit for disciplined learners is reviewing. Many students study something once, then forget it. They believe they understand it, but days later, the information disappears. This is normal. The brain needs repetition. Disciplined students review their notes regularly, not for hours, but for a few minutes every day. This simple habit greatly improves memory. It also reduces the pressure during exam time because the information stays fresh in your mind. Reviewing is the secret behind strong learning without stress. Time management is another key skill. Many students waste time without realizing it. They study with their phone nearby, switch between tasks, or spend hours doing something that should take minutes. A disciplined student learns to manage time with purpose. One effective method is the Pomodoro technique. Study for 25 minutes, then rest for 5. This cycle keeps your mind focused and prevents burnout. You can adjust the timing to fit your style, but the idea is simple. Short periods of intense focus followed by short breaks. This strengthens your discipline and improves the quality of your learning. Discipline in school is not only about studying harder, it is also about studying smarter. Many students read a page repeatedly without understanding it. This wastes energy and time. A disciplined learner uses strategies that improve comprehension, such as summarizing the main idea in their own words, teaching the material to someone else, writing quick notes, asking questions about the text, or creating simple diagrams. These techniques make learning active rather than passive. Active learning uses more of your brain, which strengthens memory and understanding. Another part of disciplined learning is asking for help when you need it. Many students avoid asking questions because they're embarrassed or afraid. But discipline also means recognizing your weaknesses and acting to fix them. Asking a teacher to explain something, studying with a friend, or finding videos on the topic can make learning easier. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of commitment. It shows discipline because you are taking responsibility for your own growth. Emotional discipline plays a big role in school success as well. Some students panic when they face a difficult subject. They feel discouraged and tell themselves, I'm not good at this. These thoughts weaken discipline. A strong learner understands that difficulty is part of the process. Every subject becomes easier with practice. Instead of saying, I can't, a disciplined student says, I'm still learning. This mindset builds resilience. When you stay calm during challenges, you learn faster and stay disciplined longer. Emotional discipline keeps your mind steady even when the work becomes hard.
Sleep and nutrition also influence learning discipline. A tired mind cannot concentrate, and a hungry mind becomes distracted. Discipline is not only about pushing yourself, it's about taking care of yourself. Sleeping well, drinking water, and eating healthy foods give your brain the power it needs to learn. Many students try to study late at night or skip meals, thinking this will save time. But this actually weakens discipline and reduces learning quality. Taking care of your body is an important part of taking care of your mind. Another element of discipline in school is setting clear goals. Vague goals like, I want good grades, are not enough. You need specific targets. I want to improve my math grade by 10%. I will read 15 pages a day. I will finish my homework before dinner. Specific goals give your mind direction.
They turn your study into a mission. When you know exactly what you want, you study with more focus and discipline. Finally, disciplined students understand the importance of celebrating small victories. Many people only celebrate big achievements, like passing an exam or finishing a project. But small victories, like studying for 20 minutes, completing an assignment early, or understanding a difficult idea, deserve recognition. Celebrating small victories makes your brain feel rewarded, which encourages you to keep going. Discipline grows when you feel good about your progress. Every small success builds confidence, and confidence strengthens discipline. In the end, discipline in school is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent. It is about showing up each day, doing your best, learning from your mistakes, and continuing forward. When you train yourself with simple daily habits, routine, focus, review, planning, and emotional control, you become a stronger learner. School becomes less stressful and more rewarding. You begin to enjoy the process of growth. With disciplined learning, you gain more than good grades. You gain the skills to learn anything, anytime for the rest of your life.
Chapter 6. Discipline for Health and Fitness. Health is one of the most important parts of your life, yet it is often the most ignored. Many people realize the importance of health only when it begins to decline. But the truth is simple. Your body is the foundation that supports everything you want to do. Your energy, your focus, your confidence, your mood, your strength, and even your discipline all depend on your physical well-being. When your body is strong, your mind becomes stronger. When your body is weak or tired, discipline becomes a struggle. In this chapter, you will learn how discipline plays a powerful role in health and fitness, and how small, simple habits can transform your body and mind over time. Most people think health and fitness require heavy workouts, strict diets, or extreme routines. This belief is one of the reasons people fail. Real discipline in health is not about doing everything perfectly. It is about doing small things consistently. A healthy life is built through daily choices, not sudden changes. You do not need to run for an hour every day. You do not need to lift heavy weights. You do not need to follow complicated diets. What you need is consistency, the discipline to take care of your body a little bit every day. Small steps may seem insignificant, but they build a strong foundation over time. One of the key habits in health discipline is daily movement. The human body is designed to move. When you spend most of your time sitting, your muscles weaken, your energy drops, and your mood declines. You do not need to exercise intensely to stay healthy. Even simple activities such as walking, stretching, or light exercises can make a huge difference. Just 10 to 15 minutes of movement every day can improve your circulation, boost your mood, and increase your focus. The important thing is not the intensity, but the consistency. A disciplined person moves their body daily, even if only for a short time. Another important aspect of health discipline is sleep. Many people underestimate the power of sleep, thinking that staying up late or sacrificing rest will help them achieve more. The opposite is true. Lack of sleep weakens the mind, reduces discipline, increases stress, and harms your body. A tired mind cannot focus, and a tired body cannot perform well. Discipline becomes almost impossible when you're exhausted. Getting enough sleep is not a luxury, it is a necessity. A disciplined life requires a rested brain. Creating a consistent sleep schedule, avoiding screens before bed, and giving yourself time to wind down will transform your energy and productivity.
Nutrition also plays a huge role in discipline. Your brain and body depend on the food you eat. When you eat too much sugar, fast food, or unhealthy snacks, your energy rises quickly and then drops suddenly. This makes you feel tired, unfocused, and less motivated. Healthy eating is not about strict dieting. It is about balance. It is about giving your body what it needs to function well. A disciplined diet includes fruits, vegetables, water, protein, and natural foods. You do not need to remove everything you enjoy. Discipline is not punishment. Instead, it is about making better choices most of the time. When you nourish your body properly,
Your mind becomes clearer, and your discipline becomes stronger. One of the biggest challenges people face in health is motivation. Many people start exercising or eating healthy with excitement, but they stop after a few days. Motivation disappears quickly because health changes happen slowly. You cannot see results after one workout. You cannot change your body in 1 week. This slow progress discourages many people. But disciplined people understand that health is a long journey. They focus on the process, not only the results. They know that each day of effort builds a stronger future. Discipline is what makes you continue when results are not visible yet. To build discipline in health, you must remove the idea of perfection. Many people fail because they expect themselves to follow strict routines without mistakes. When they skip one workout or eat something unhealthy, they feel guilty and give up. But discipline is not about being perfect. It is about coming back. If you miss a workout today, exercise tomorrow. If you eat something unhealthy, choose better food next time. What matters is not the mistake, it is the recovery. A disciplined person does not quit after a small failure. They return to their routine again and again. This consistency builds a strong and healthy body over time. Another powerful way to build discipline in fitness is setting simple and realistic goals. Many people set goals that are too big and too fast, losing a lot of weight quickly, building muscles in a short time, or transforming their body overnight. These unrealistic goals lead to disappointment and lost discipline. Instead, focus on achievable goals. Walking 10 minutes a day, doing 20 squats, drinking more water, or improving flexibility. Small goals are easier to maintain, and each small victory boosts your confidence. As your confidence grows, your discipline grows too.
One of the biggest enemies of health discipline is temptation. Junk food, comfort eating, skipping exercise, staying up late, or spending hours on your phone. Temptation becomes powerful when you rely only on willpower, but willpower is limited. The smarter strategy is to design your environment to support discipline. For example, keeping unhealthy snacks out of sight, preparing meals in advance, placing your workout clothes in a visible place, or setting alarms to remind you to sleep early. When your environment helps you, your discipline becomes easier. This technique, known as environment design, is one of the strongest tools in behavior change. Another important area is hydration. Water plays a basic but powerful role in health. When you are dehydrated, your mind feels heavy, your energy drops, and your focus weakens. Drinking enough water throughout the day is a simple habit, but it has a huge effect on your discipline and well-being. Sometimes people feel tired or unmotivated, not because they lack discipline, but because they lack water. Keeping a water bottle nearby and drinking regularly is an easy habit that supports your overall discipline. Discipline in health also requires listening to your body. Many people push themselves too hard, thinking that more effort means better results. But discipline is about balance. It means understanding when your body needs rest, when it needs food, when it needs movement, and when it needs care. Ignoring your body leads to injuries, exhaustion, and burnout. A disciplined person respects their body and treats it with kindness. They challenge themselves, but they also rest when needed. This balance is what creates long-term health. One of the most powerful sources of discipline in fitness is enjoyment. When you enjoy your activities, discipline becomes easier. Not everyone enjoys running or lifting weights, and that is completely fine. Fitness is not one size fits all. You can choose activities you like: dancing, walking, swimming, stretching, cycling, playing sports, or even simple home workouts. When your exercise is enjoyable, you look forward to it. Happiness becomes part of your discipline. The more you enjoy the journey, the stronger your commitment becomes.
Another crucial factor is tracking your progress. The human brain likes evidence of improvement. When you see progress, no matter how small, you feel motivated to continue. You can track your steps, your workouts, your sleep, your water intake, or your mood. Even writing down your daily habits helps your mind see that your efforts matter. The more progress you see, the stronger your discipline becomes. Progress builds confidence, and confidence builds consistency. Health discipline is also deeply connected to mindfulness. This means becoming aware of your body, your feelings, and your choices. For example, you may eat unhealthy food not because you are hungry, but because you are stressed or bored. When you are mindful, you begin to notice these patterns. You learn to pause before acting. You choose your food consciously. You rest when needed. You exercise with intention. Mindfulness helps you take control of your habits instead of acting automatically. This awareness is one of the greatest strengths of a disciplined person. Another important point is that fitness is not only physical, it is emotional. Exercise reduces stress, improves mood, and boosts confidence. When you move your body, your brain releases chemicals that make you feel happier. This creates a powerful cycle. Exercise improves your mood, and a better mood makes discipline easier. Many people think they should wait until they feel good to exercise. But the truth is that exercise creates the feeling of well-being. When you understand this, you begin to see exercise as a form of self-care, not punishment. In the end, discipline in health and fitness is not about chasing a perfect body or following extreme routines. It is about becoming a stronger, healthier, more confident version of yourself. It is about building daily habits that support your energy, your focus, and your long-term well-being. When you take care of your body, your mind becomes sharper. You feel more alive. You think more clearly, and you gain the strength to pursue your goals with determination. A disciplined approach to health will change your life. It will give you energy when others are tired. It will give you focus when others are distracted. It will give you power when others feel weak. Your body is the engine that carries you through every day. When you discipline it with love, consistency, and small daily habits, you build a future filled with strength, energy, and confidence.
Chapter 7. Financial Discipline. Money plays a quiet but powerful role in your life. It affects your choices, your opportunities, your stress levels, your confidence, and even your freedom. Many people dream of having more money, but very few understand that true financial stability and wealth do not start with a bigger paycheck. They start with discipline. Financial discipline is not only about saving money or avoiding unnecessary spending, it is a mindset, a lifestyle, and a long-term habit. It shapes how you think about money, how you use it, and how you plan for the future. In this chapter, you will learn how financial discipline works, why it is important, and how small daily decisions create long-term financial success. Most people struggle with money not because they earn too little, but because they manage it without discipline. They spend on impulse, buy things they do not need, or use money to feel better temporarily. Emotional spending is one of the biggest enemies of financial stability. When people are stressed, bored, or sad, they often buy unnecessary things to feel better for a moment. This creates a cycle: temporary pleasure followed by long-term financial stress. A disciplined person learns to understand their emotions instead of escaping them through spending. Discipline means thinking before acting, not allowing a temporary feeling to damage your financial future. One of the simplest and strongest tools of financial discipline is tracking your expenses. You cannot control what you do not measure. Many people have no idea where their money goes. They think they spend a little here and there, but small purchases add up quickly. Writing down your expenses, whether in a notebook or an app, gives you clarity. It shows you patterns. It helps you see where you waste money. This awareness alone can transform your financial life. When you know exactly how much you spend, discipline becomes easier because your decisions are based on facts, not guesses.
Another key principle of financial discipline is living below your means. This does not mean living poorly or sacrificing everything you enjoy. It simply means spending less than you earn. When you live below your means, you create space in your budget for saving, investing, and emergencies. Many people earn good money but still feel broke because they spend everything they receive. Living below your means is like building a protective wall around your future. It keeps you safe from unexpected problems and gives you the freedom to make choices without fear.
Saving money is another important ingredient in financial discipline. Savings are not only for emergencies, they are a symbol of control and preparation. When you save, you tell yourself, I am planning for my future. Even small amounts matter. Saving 5% of your income may not feel important today, but over time it becomes a powerful habit. The key to saving is consistency. A disciplined person saves every month, even if the amount is small. This creates stability and confidence. Savings act like a cushion that protects you from financial stress. Another powerful financial habit is budgeting. A budget is simply a plan for your money. It tells you where your money should go instead of wondering where it went. A disciplined budget includes categories such as food, bills, transportation, savings, and personal spending. Budgeting does not mean restricting your life, it means organizing it. It means telling your money what to do instead of letting it control you. When you follow a budget, you avoid surprises and reduce financial anxiety. Your mind becomes calmer because you know exactly what you can afford. One of the biggest obstacles to financial discipline is debt. Debt is easy to enter but difficult to escape. Many people use debt to buy things they cannot afford, and this creates long-term stress. Every month, part of their income goes to paying back the past instead of building the future. A disciplined person avoids unnecessary debt. They understand that debt steals your freedom. If you already have debt, discipline can help you pay it down step by step. You do not need to pay everything at once. You can create a simple plan. Pay the smallest debts first to build momentum, then move to the larger ones. Each payment brings you closer to freedom. Another form of financial discipline is learning to wait. The modern world encourages instant gratification. With one click, you can buy anything you want. But this convenience creates impulsive habits. Before buying something, give yourself time. Ask, do I really need this? Will it matter in 1 week? Can I live without it? Delaying a purchase even for 24 hours can stop many unnecessary expenses. This small act of waiting builds self-control. It strengthens your discipline. It protects your money from emotional decisions.
Financial discipline also requires setting goals. Without goals, money flows away easily. With goals, every dollar has a purpose. Your goals can be short-term, like saving for a new device or paying off a bill. They can also be long-term, like building an emergency fund, buying a home, or starting a business. Goals give your mind direction. They motivate you to stay disciplined. When you remember what you are working toward, it becomes easier to avoid temptation and stay focused. Another important part of financial discipline is planning for emergencies. Life is unpredictable. Sudden expenses can appear at any time. Medical issues, broken devices, unexpected bills, or job changes. Without an emergency fund, these moments create panic. But with a disciplined savings plan, you protect yourself from stress. Even saving a small amount each month creates a shield. An emergency fund gives you peace of mind. It allows you to face uncertainty with confidence instead of fear. Discipline in finances is also connected to investing. Many people believe investing is only for the rich or for experts, but this is not true.
Investing simply means using your money in a way that helps it grow. Even small investments over time can create big results. The key is to start early, be consistent, and choose safe, long-term strategies. Stocks, index funds, real estate, or small businesses are some of the ways people invest. But before investing, you must build discipline in saving and budgeting. Investing without discipline is like building a house without a foundation. A strong financial foundation always comes first. Another powerful idea in financial discipline is learning to say no. The world is full of temptations: sales, promotions, new gadgets, trending clothes, and endless products. Advertisers use psychology to make you want things you do not need. A disciplined person recognizes this. They understand that not every desire must become a purchase. They say no to things that do not support their goals. They say no to buying now and struggling later. Every time you say no to an unnecessary purchase, you say yes to your future. Financial discipline also requires you to separate wants from needs. Needs are essential: food, shelter, transportation, school supplies, and basic clothing. Wants are everything else: luxury items, expensive gadgets, fashionable clothes, or entertainment. Wants are not bad, but they must be controlled. Understanding the difference helps you spend wisely. It gives you financial freedom instead of financial stress.
Another important habit is avoiding comparisons. Many people overspend because they want to look like others. They pressure themselves to buy clothes, phones, or lifestyles they cannot afford. This destroys discipline. Your financial life should be based on your goals, not someone else's image. When you stop comparing yourself to others, discipline becomes easier. You stop chasing appearances and start building your future. Financial discipline also involves building multiple streams of income if possible. Even small side projects or part-time work can help you grow financially. But this only works when you manage your money with discipline. Extra income means nothing if you spend it carelessly. A disciplined person uses extra income to save, invest, or reach long-term goals faster. Most importantly, financial discipline is about thinking long-term. Many people focus only on the present moment. They spend money to feel good today and ignore tomorrow. But a disciplined person looks ahead. They ask themselves, how will this decision affect my future? Every financial choice you make has a future consequence. When you think long-term, you make wiser decisions. In the end, financial discipline is not about being strict or denying yourself happiness. It is about building a stable, confident, and secure life. It is about reducing stress, increasing freedom, and creating opportunities. When you control your money can no longer control you. Financial discipline transforms your life by giving you clarity, strength, and peace of mind. When you build disciplined habits, tracking expenses, avoiding impulse spending, saving regularly, budgeting wisely, avoiding debt, setting goals, and thinking long-term, you gain a powerful tool for your future. With financial discipline, you protect your dreams, support your family, and create a life filled with stability and possibility.
Another important habit is avoiding comparisons. Many people overspend because they want to look like others. They pressure themselves to buy clothes, phones, or lifestyles they cannot afford. This destroys discipline. Your financial life should be based on your goals, not someone else's image. When you stop comparing yourself to others, discipline becomes easier. You stop chasing appearances and start building your future. Financial discipline also involves building multiple streams of income if possible. Even small side projects or part-time work can help you grow financially. But this only works when you manage your money with discipline. Extra income means nothing if you spend it carelessly.
A disciplined person uses extra income to save, invest, or reach long-term goals faster. Most importantly, financial discipline is about thinking long-term. Many people focus only on the present moment. They spend money to feel good today and ignore tomorrow. But a disciplined person looks ahead. They ask themselves, how will this decision affect my future? Every financial choice you make has a future consequence. When you think long-term, you make wiser decisions. In the end, financial discipline is not about being strict or denying yourself happiness. It is about building a stable, confident, and secure life. It is about reducing stress, increasing freedom, and creating opportunities. When you control your money can no longer control you. Financial discipline transforms your life by giving you clarity, strength, and peace of mind. When you build disciplined habits, tracking expenses, avoiding impulse spending, saving regularly, budgeting wisely, avoiding debt, setting goals, and thinking long-term, you gain a powerful tool for your future. With financial discipline, you protect your dreams, support your family, and create a life filled with stability and possibility.
Chapter 8: Emotional Discipline. Emotional discipline is one of the most important, yet most overlooked forms of discipline. While many people focus on physical strength, academic success, or financial stability, they forget that emotions shape almost every decision they make. Your emotions influence how you react to stress, how you communicate with others, how you handle challenges, and how you remain consistent in your habits. Without emotional discipline, even the strongest plans fall apart. But when you learn to guide your emotions instead of allowing them to guide you, you become a stronger, calmer, and more capable version of yourself. In this chapter, we will explore what emotional discipline means, why it is important, and how you can develop it through simple daily practices. Emotional discipline does not mean hiding your feelings or pretending everything is fine. It does not mean becoming cold or emotionless. Instead, emotional discipline means understanding your emotions, accepting them, and responding to them in a healthy and controlled way. People who lack emotional discipline often react quickly, without thinking. They get angry easily, give up when they feel discouraged, or make impulsive decisions that they later regret. On the other hand, emotionally disciplined people pause, breathe, think, and respond with intention. This ability to pause is one of the greatest strengths a person can develop. One of the first steps in emotional discipline is self-awareness. You cannot control what you do not understand. Many people react emotionally without knowing why. They feel angry but cannot explain the cause. They feel sad but hide it. They feel jealous, anxious, or stressed, but they ignore these feelings. Emotional discipline begins when you learn to observe your feelings without judgment. Ask yourself simple questions. What am I feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? What triggered this emotion? These questions help you understand the root of your emotions. When you understand your feelings, you gain control. When you ignore them, they control you.
Another powerful element of emotional discipline is the ability to pause before reacting. Many conflicts, mistakes, and regrets come from reacting too quickly. A disciplined mind does not rush. When you feel emotional, angry, upset, stressed, your first reaction is often not your best reaction. By pausing for a few seconds, breathing deeply, and letting the emotions settle, you gain the space to respond wisely. This small pause can prevent arguments, reduce stress, and protect your relationships. Emotional discipline teaches you that silence can be more powerful than anger. One of the greatest challenges in emotional discipline is anger. Anger is a natural emotion, but if uncontrolled, it becomes destructive. It damages relationships, creates regret, and weakens your discipline. Many people let anger speak for them, and later they wish they had stayed calm.
To control anger, you must practice awareness and distance. When you feel anger rising, do not act immediately. Take a deep breath. Step away if needed. Remind yourself that temporary anger can create permanent damage. Emotional discipline allows you to choose patience over reaction, peace over conflict. Another widespread emotion that affects discipline is stress. Stress is part of life, but when it becomes overwhelming, it can break your focus and consistency. Stress makes simple tasks feel heavy. It makes your mind jump from one worry to another. Emotional discipline helps you manage stress by teaching you to approach problems calmly. Instead of thinking everything is going wrong, you learn to say, I will handle one thing at a time. This shift in attitude does not remove the problem, but it gives you power over it. Emotional discipline reduces stress by giving you clarity and control. Fear is another emotion that weakens discipline. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These fears often stop people from trying new things or staying consistent. Fear creates excuses, delays, and doubt. Emotional discipline teaches you to face fear with courage, but also with patience. It does not tell you to eliminate fear completely. It teaches you to move forward even when fear is present. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to act despite fear. Emotional discipline helps you build this courage step by step.
Another key part of emotional discipline is not taking everything personally. Many people become upset over small comments, misunderstandings, or opinions from others. They carry emotional pain from situations that were never meant to hurt them. When you take everything personally, your emotions become fragile. Emotional discipline teaches you that not everything is about you. People have their own struggles, their own moods, and their own perspectives. When someone speaks harshly or unfairly, it often reflects their own issues, not your value. Learning this gives you emotional freedom. You stop wasting energy on unnecessary pain. Emotional discipline also means letting go of things you cannot control. Many people stress about situations they cannot change. Other people's opinions, past mistakes, unexpected events. This emotional burden weakens discipline because it drains energy. A disciplined person focuses on what they can control: their actions, their habits, their attitude, their effort. They accept that some things are not in their hands, and they let them go. This acceptance brings peace. It frees the mind from unnecessary stress and gives you the strength to focus on what truly matters. Another important aspect of emotional discipline is forgiveness. Holding on to anger, resentment, or past mistakes harms your emotional health. Carrying emotional weight weakens your discipline because it consumes mental energy. Forgiveness is not about forgetting or approving what happened. It is about releasing the emotional burden. It is about choosing peace over pain. When you forgive others and yourself, you create space in your heart for growth, clarity, and strength. Emotional discipline teaches you that forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. In a disciplined emotional life, empathy also plays a huge role. Empathy means understanding the feelings of others. When you develop empathy, you communicate more calmly, argue less, and build stronger relationships. Empathy helps you react with kindness instead of frustration. It allows you to see situations from another person's perspective. This understanding reduces emotional conflict and increases emotional maturity. A disciplined person knows when to speak, when to listen, and when to stay silent.
A powerful tool for emotional discipline is mindfulness. Mindfulness means being present in the moment. Instead of worrying about the future or replaying the past, mindfulness brings your attention to now. Many emotional problems come from thinking too far ahead or holding on to yesterday. Mindfulness teaches your mind to slow down. You can practice mindfulness through breathing exercises, quiet moments, or simply focusing on one activity at a time. These small practices strengthen your emotional stability and reduce stress. Another habit that strengthens emotional discipline is expressing your emotions in healthy ways. This could be through writing, talking to someone you trust, or allowing yourself to feel your emotions without judgment. Suppressing emotions makes them stronger. Expressing them wisely makes you freer. A disciplined person expresses emotions without hurting themselves or others. They communicate their feelings calmly, clearly, and respectfully. One of the most powerful forms of emotional discipline is self-compassion. Many people are harsh on themselves. They criticize their mistakes, compare themselves to others, or feel guilty for not being perfect. This self-criticism weakens emotional strength. Self-compassion means treating yourself with kindness, just as you would treat a friend. It means acknowledging that mistakes are normal and growth takes time. When you practice self-compassion, you become more resilient. You bounce back faster after failures. You stay motivated because you are not fighting against yourself. Another essential practice is building emotional routines. Just as your body needs physical routines, your emotions need healthy practices as well. This can include positive self-talk, gratitude, journaling, meditation, or even spending time in nature. Emotional routines create stability. They help you start and end your day with calmness and clarity. When your emotions are balanced, discipline becomes easier.
Finally, emotional discipline means commitment to personal growth. It means understanding that your emotions will not always cooperate, but you can still move forward. You will have days when you feel unmotivated, tired, or frustrated. Emotional discipline is what carries you through those days. It helps you stay steady even when your emotions try to pull you off track. It gives you the strength to continue your journey with confidence and patience. In the end, emotional discipline is the foundation of a peaceful, focused, and successful life. It gives you power over your reactions, your decisions, and your daily actions. When your emotions are balanced, everything else, your studies, your health, your relationships, your goals, becomes easier to manage. Emotional discipline does not make life perfect, but it makes you stronger than the challenges you face. It allows you to move through the world with wisdom, calmness, and strength.
Chapter 9. Discipline in Relationships. Relationships are one of the most important parts of life. They shape your happiness, your confidence, your growth, and your daily experiences. Whether it is your family, friends, classmates, coworkers, or community, your relationships influence who you become. Many people think that relationships succeed only because of love, friendship, or shared interests. But behind every healthy relationship, there is something even more important: discipline. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps relationships strong, respectful, and meaningful. In this chapter, you will discover how discipline shapes your interactions, how it strengthens communication, and how it helps you build peaceful and lasting connections with others. At its core, discipline in relationships means showing up consistently. It means treating people with respect, even on difficult days. It means keeping your promises, listening carefully, and controlling your emotions so you do not harm others with your words or actions. Without discipline, relationships become unstable. One day you may behave kindly, the next day angrily. One moment you may listen, the next moment you may ignore. This inconsistency weakens trust. But when you act with discipline, you create stability. People know what to expect from you. Your behavior becomes reliable, and reliability builds strong bonds. One of the first signs of discipline in relationships is respect. Respect is not only about good manners or polite words, it's about valuing the other person's feelings, time, space, and boundaries. A disciplined person does not insult others, interrupt them, or make them feel small. They do not use their emotions as weapons.
Instead, they treat people with kindness even when they disagree. Respect requires emotional control. It requires patience. It requires discipline. Without respect, relationships fall apart quickly. Another essential part of disciplined relationships is communication. Good communication is not only about talking, it's also about listening. Many people listen only to respond, not to understand. But disciplined communication means giving your full attention to the other person. It means being present, putting your phone away, and focusing on their words. It means asking questions, clarifying misunderstandings, and expressing your thoughts honestly but respectfully. Discipline helps you speak calmly, even when you're upset. It helps you express your feelings without shouting or hurting others. Good communication creates safety, trust, and understanding.
Discipline in relationships also means keeping your promises. When you tell someone you will do something, you should follow through. Many people make promises quickly but forget or ignore them later. This weakens trust and damages relationships. Promise only what you can actually do. A disciplined person understands that promises are a responsibility, not just words. When you keep your commitments, even small ones, people trust you more. They feel secure around you. They know you are reliable. Reliability is one of the strongest qualities a person can bring to any relationship. Another important aspect is setting and respecting boundaries. Boundaries are limits that protect your emotional and personal space. They help you stay balanced and healthy. For example, you may need time alone, privacy, or space to focus on your work or studies. A disciplined person respects their own boundaries and also respects the boundaries of others. They understand that everyone needs time, rest, and independence. Without boundaries, relationships become suffocating or stressful. With boundaries, relationships become healthier and more respectful. Discipline also plays a huge role in controlling conflict. No relationship is free from disagreements. People have different opinions, moods, and experiences. What matters is how you handle conflict. An undisciplined person reacts with anger, shouting, blaming, or shutting down. These reactions turn small disagreements into big problems. A disciplined person approaches conflict calmly. They take time to cool down if needed. They speak respectfully, focus on the issue, not the person, and try to understand the other side. Discipline helps you choose peace over pride, solutions over arguments. Another important point is patience. Patience is a form of discipline. It is the ability to remain calm when things do not go your way. In relationships, patience means giving people time to grow, time to change, and time to express themselves. It means accepting that nobody is perfect. It means understanding that everyone has good days and bad days. When you are patient, you create a supportive environment where people feel safe. This builds deeper trust and stronger relationships. Forgiveness is also a powerful part of disciplined relationships. People make mistakes, sometimes small, sometimes big. Holding on to anger, resentment, or past hurts damages relationships and burdens your heart. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting what happened or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing peace over pain. It means acknowledging the mistake but letting go of the emotional weight. A disciplined person forgives because they understand that anger harms both sides. Forgiveness frees your heart. It gives relationships a chance to heal and grow.
Another powerful form of discipline in relationships is consistency. Many people behave kindly only when it is easy or convenient, but discipline means being consistent even when life becomes busy. Sending a message to check on someone, helping a family member, or supporting a friend during hard times requires effort and time. Consistency shows that you truly care. It builds emotional security. People feel loved when you show up not only in the good moments, but also when things are difficult. Empathy, the ability to understand what another person feels, is another important part of disciplined relationships. Empathy requires stepping out of your own perspective and imagining what the other person might be experiencing. This requires emotional discipline because you must slow down, listen carefully, and control your own reactions. Empathy makes communication softer, conflicts calmer, and relationships deeper. When you practice empathy, you treat people with compassion, even when you disagree.
Discipline in relationships also means communicating honestly. Honesty builds trust, but honesty with discipline means being gentle and thoughtful with your words. Truth should never be used as a weapon. A disciplined person speaks honestly but respectfully. They express their needs clearly, communicate their feelings calmly, and avoid hiding important issues. Honesty without discipline can hurt people. Honesty with discipline strengthens relationships. Another important practice is avoiding assumptions. Many relationship problems begin when people assume what others feel or think without asking. Assumptions create misunderstanding. They cause unnecessary conflict. Discipline teaches you to ask instead of assume. It teaches you to communicate clearly instead of imagining the worst. When you ask questions instead of assuming answers, you build clarity and trust. Gratitude also plays a major role in disciplined relationships. Many people take others for granted. They stop saying thank you, stop appreciating small acts of kindness, stop noticing the positive things others do. Gratitude brings warmth and connection. When you express gratitude regularly, thank you, I appreciate you, that meant a lot to me, you strengthen your relationships. Gratitude is a form of discipline because it requires you to pay attention, to notice, and to value the people in your life.
Another important discipline is controlling jealousy. Jealousy is a natural emotion, but if left uncontrolled, it can destroy relationships. Jealousy comes from fear, insecurity, or comparison. A disciplined person learns to trust, communicate their feelings, and strengthen their self-confidence. They do not act on jealousy impulsively. They think before reacting. They choose trust over suspicion, communication over anger. Discipline also helps you maintain balance in relationships. Some people give too much of themselves and forget their own needs. Others take too much without giving. A disciplined relationship is balanced. Both sides support, listen, and care. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Discipline teaches you to take care of yourself so you can care for others without losing your strength or identity. Finally, discipline in relationships means knowing when to walk away. Not every relationship is healthy. Some relationships bring constant negativity, disrespect, or harm. Emotional discipline teaches you not to stay in unhealthy situations out of fear or habit. It teaches you to value your peace, your self-respect, and your future. Walking away from toxic relationships is one of the strongest acts of discipline a person can make. In the end, discipline in relationships is not about control. It is about love, respect, communication, and emotional maturity. When you approach relationships with discipline, you become a better person to yourself and to those around you. You create a life filled with trust, kindness, stability, and meaningful connections. Discipline transforms relationships into safe, strong, and beautiful parts of your life.
Chapter 10. How to stay disciplined long-term. Staying disciplined for one day is easy. For 1 week is possible. But staying disciplined for months and years, that is where real strength is tested. Many people start strong. They begin with excitement, fresh motivation, and big dreams. But as time passes, the excitement fades, challenges appear, distractions grow, and old habits return. This does not happen because people are weak. It happens because long-term discipline requires different skills than short-term discipline. In this chapter, you will learn how to build a lasting discipline that survives difficult days, stays strong during challenges, and carries you through your entire life. The first key to long-term discipline is identity. Your habits follow your identity. If you see yourself as someone who tries to be disciplined, your discipline will come and go. But if you see yourself as a disciplined person, your actions will reflect that identity. Identity is the strongest force in human behavior. People naturally act like the person they believe they are. If you believe you are responsible, you behave responsibly. If you believe you are focused, you behave with focus. To build long-term discipline, you must shift your identity. This shift does not happen overnight. It happens through evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you add a small piece of evidence that you are a disciplined person. Over time, these pieces become a powerful identity. Another essential part of long-term discipline is routines. Motivation fades quickly, but routines remain. When something becomes part of your routine, it no longer requires willpower. It becomes automatic. This is why brushing your teeth or getting dressed requires no effort. You have repeated it so many times that it has become a habit. To stay disciplined long-term, you must build routines that support your goals. Morning routines, study routines, work routines, sleep routines. These are the structures that protect your discipline from chaos. Even if you do not feel motivated, routines carry you forward. Long-term discipline also depends on your environment. People often underestimate how strongly their surroundings influence their behavior. If your environment is full of distractions, clutter, noise, a phone always within reach, your discipline weakens. But if your environment makes good habits easy and bad habits difficult, discipline becomes natural. For example, placing your phone in another room while studying, preparing your workout clothes the night before, or keeping healthy snacks visible instead of junk food, these simple environmental changes make discipline easier. Your environment should support your goals, not fight against them.
Another powerful method for long-term discipline is tracking your progress. The human brain loves progress. When you see improvement, even small improvement, you feel motivated to continue. But when you cannot see progress, discipline becomes difficult. Tracking your habits, whether through a journal, an app, or a simple checklist, gives you visible proof that your effort counts. Each checkmark, each completed day, each small victory builds momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in discipline. When you have momentum, staying disciplined feels easier. When you lose momentum, discipline becomes a struggle. Tracking helps you maintain momentum even through difficult periods. Long-term discipline also requires flexibility. Many people fail because they follow strict rules. When life becomes busy or something unexpected happens, they break the rule once and then give up completely. Discipline is not about being perfect. It is about being adaptable. If you miss a workout, you exercise the next day. If you break your diet, you eat healthy the next meal. If you lose your focus today, you restart tomorrow. The disciplined person is not the one who never fails. It is the one who never quits. Flexibility allows you to adjust without abandoning your goals. Another important factor is self-compassion. People often destroy their discipline with harsh self-criticism. When they make a mistake, they speak to themselves with judgment. You always fail. You are lazy. You can't do anything right. These thoughts weaken discipline. They drain motivation and confidence. Self-compassion means understanding that mistakes are part of growth. It means speaking to yourself with kindness. It's okay. Tomorrow is a new day. I can start again. Studies show that people who are kind to themselves after failure recover faster and stay disciplined longer. Self-compassion protects your discipline from emotional damage. Another powerful tool for long-term discipline is reviewing your goals regularly. Goals are like fuel for your discipline. If you ignore your goals for too long, they lose their energy. You must remind yourself why you started. When you revisit your goals, weekly or monthly, you renew your purpose. You reconnect with your vision of the future. This makes discipline feel meaningful, not mechanical. Reviewing your goals also helps you adjust them. As you grow, your goals may change. A disciplined person reviews, updates, and aligns their goals with their life direction.
Long-term discipline also involves understanding your energy levels. Discipline is not only about time management, it is about energy management. Some people are more focused in the morning, others at night. Some need breaks every 30 minutes, others can work for an hour. Long-term discipline means knowing your rhythms and using them wisely. You achieve more when you work with your energy instead of against it. When you learn your patterns, your discipline becomes personalized, natural, and sustainable. Another crucial part of long-term discipline is avoiding burnout. Many people push themselves too hard. They work intensely for a few weeks, then feel exhausted and quit. Burnout destroys discipline. To avoid burnout, balance is necessary. Rest must be part of your routine. Breaks, free time, hobbies, and relaxation recharge your mind. Discipline is not about constant pressure.
It is about sustainable effort. When you rest properly, your discipline becomes stronger, not weaker. Long-term discipline also requires building a supportive environment of people. The people around you influence your habits. If your friends lack discipline, complain constantly, or waste time, their energy can weaken your progress. But if you surround yourself with focused, responsible, and determined people, their habits lift you up. You do not need perfect people around you, but you need people who respect your goals, people who encourage your discipline, not those who sabotage it. It is easier to stay disciplined when you are not fighting alone. Another important concept is celebrating your progress. People often wait until they reach a huge goal before celebrating. But long-term discipline requires regular encouragement. Celebrate small victories, the days you studied, the workouts you completed, the money you saved, the habits you kept. Every small celebration gives your brain a reward, which strengthens your desire to continue. Recognition fuels discipline. It gives you emotional strength to keep going. Long-term discipline also requires knowing your why. Your why is the reason behind your goal. It is the emotional engine that drives you. A goal without an emotional reason is weak, but a goal with a strong why is powerful. You study not just to pass exams, but to build a future. You exercise not just to look good, but to feel healthy and confident. You save money not just to have cash, but to create freedom. Your why gives meaning to your discipline. When discipline feels heavy, remembering your why makes it lighter. Another important element is simplicity. Complicated plans always fail eventually. Simple habits last. Simple routines last. Simple goals last. When you keep your discipline simple, it becomes easier to maintain for years, not just days. Simplicity is the secret to long-term success. Finally, long-term discipline requires patience. Growth takes time. Change takes time. Success takes time. Many people quit because they expect results too quickly. Discipline teaches you to trust the process, even when results are slow. Every day you stay disciplined, you are building a stronger version of yourself. You may not see the change immediately, but it is happening inside you. Every disciplined action adds a brick to your future. One day you will look back and realize that your patience built something powerful. In the end, long-term discipline is a journey, not a race. It is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is not about intensity. It is about consistency. It is not about never falling. It is about rising every time you fall. When you master long-term discipline, you gain the freedom to build any life you want. You gain the confidence to face any challenge. You gain the strength to keep growing for the rest of your life.
Chapter 11. Rebuilding Discipline After Failure. No matter how strong or motivated you are, no matter how carefully you plan, and no matter how disciplined you try to be, you will eventually face failure. You will face days when you break your routine, skip your goals, lose focus, or fall back into old habits. This is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are human. The true test of discipline is not whether you fall, it is how you rise after falling. In this chapter, you will learn how to rebuild discipline after failure, how to recover faster, and how to turn setbacks into powerful steps forward. Many people believe that disciplined individuals never make mistakes. They imagine that disciplined people wake up every day motivated, energetic, and perfectly consistent, but this is not reality. Even the most disciplined people fail sometimes. They have days when they feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated. They have moments when emotions take over, when life becomes overwhelming, or when unexpected problems interrupt their routines. What makes them disciplined is not perfection, it is persistence. They know how to restart. They know how to rebuild. They know how to keep going. The first step in rebuilding discipline is acceptance. Many people make a simple mistake but turn it into a big emotional problem by criticizing themselves. They say things like, "I'm so lazy," "I always fail," or "I will never change." These negative thoughts destroy discipline because they attack your identity.
They make you believe you're incapable. But disciplined people understand that mistakes are normal. They accept the failure without judging themselves. Acceptance means saying, I made a mistake and that is okay. Now I will begin again. Acceptance is the door to recovery. Without acceptance, you stay stuck. The second step is understanding the cause. Failure is not random. There is always a reason behind it. Maybe you were tired. Maybe you were stressed. Maybe you were overwhelmed. Maybe your plan was too difficult. Maybe your environment was full of distractions. Maybe you did not give yourself enough rest. When you understand why you failed, you can fix the root of the problem. If you ignore the cause, you will repeat the same mistake. Emotional discipline helps you look at failure with curiosity, not shame. Ask yourself, what made this habit difficult? What happened before I broke my routine? What can I change to make success easier next time? These questions transform failure into wisdom. The third step is starting small again. After failure, many people try to restart with big goals or strict routines because they feel guilty. They want to make up for their mistake by doing extra. But this usually leads to more failure. When you are rebuilding discipline, begin with small steps. If you missed a workout, start with a short exercise. If you stopped studying, restart with 10 minutes. If you stopped saving money, begin with a small amount. Small steps rebuild confidence. Confidence rebuilds momentum. Momentum rebuilds discipline. Another important part of rebuilding discipline is forgiving yourself. Forgiveness is not only for relationships with others, it is important for your relationship with yourself. When you forgive yourself, you lighten the emotional weight that blocks discipline. Guilt drains energy. Shame weakens your motivation. But forgiveness frees your mind. It reminds you that you are still capable of change. Forgiveness says, I am not perfect, but I am improving. A disciplined person forgives themselves quickly and moves forward. Discipline after failure also requires simplifying your goals. Complicated plans make it easy to fail again. Simplify your routines. Reduce the number of tasks. Focus on one thing at a time. When your plan is simple, your mind feels relaxed. When your mind is relaxed, discipline becomes easier. A simple strategy sustained for a long time is more powerful than a complicated strategy that lasts only a week. Another powerful tool is adjusting your environment. If your environment contributed to your failure, like your phone distracting you, your room being messy, or your schedule being chaotic, you must change it. A small environmental change can prevent a big failure. For example, if you want to study but your phone keeps interrupting you, place it in another room. If you want to wake up early but struggle with alarms, place your alarm far from your bed. If you want to exercise but forget, put your shoes where you can see them. Discipline becomes easier when your environment supports it.
Rebuilding discipline also requires support. You do not have to recover alone. Talking to a friend, sharing your goal with someone you trust, or joining a supportive community can help you stay consistent. When you feel someone believes in you, your motivation increases. When you feel understood, your stress decreases. Support does not make you weak, it makes you stronger. Another important lesson is to learn from your patterns. Everyone has patterns in their failures. For example, maybe you lose discipline when you sleep too late. Maybe you lose discipline when you are hungry. Maybe you lose discipline when you feel stressed after school or work. Maybe you lose discipline on weekends. When you find your patterns, you can prepare for them. If evenings are difficult, focus on doing important tasks in the morning. If weekends break your routine, create a simple weekend plan. Understanding your patterns helps you prevent future failures. The next step in rebuilding discipline is reconnecting with your why. Failure often makes people forget why they started. They lose sight of their purpose. They feel disconnected from their goals. When you remind yourself of your why, your future, your dreams, your growth, you restart your inner motivation. Your why is the emotional fuel that powers your discipline. When that fuel runs low, discipline weakens. Rekindling your purpose helps you rise again. Another important step is celebrating your return, even if the step is small. Restarting after failure is not easy. It takes courage. It takes strength. It takes maturity. Celebrate that moment. Tell yourself, I am back. Reward your effort. A small celebration sends a powerful message to your brain. Restarting is a success, not a shame. This positive feeling helps your discipline grow.
To rebuild discipline long-term, you must also practice consistency over intensity. Many people fail because they rely on strong bursts of effort instead of gentle, steady habits. Intensity fades, but consistency lasts. You do not need to be perfect, you only need to be present. Even on busy days, do a small version of your habit. Even on difficult days, take one step forward. Consistency creates a rhythm. Rhythm creates discipline. Another important part of rebuilding discipline is not giving failure too much meaning. Do not treat one mistake like the end of your journey. A mistake is just a single moment. It does not define you. It does not cancel your progress. It does not erase your growth. Many people quit because they believe failure means they are not capable. But disciplined people see failure as feedback, not identity. They move on quickly. They do not let one bad day become a bad week or month. Rebuilding discipline also means avoiding the all-or-nothing mindset. This is one of the most dangerous thoughts in personal growth. The all-or-nothing mindset says, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. This mindset destroys progress. Instead, disciplined people focus on all or something. If they cannot do the full workout, they do a small one. If they cannot study for an hour, they study for 10 minutes. If they cannot follow the routine perfectly, they do it partially. Something is always better than nothing. Small actions keep your discipline alive. Finally, rebuilding discipline requires patience. Restarting takes time. You may not feel strong immediately. You may feel frustrated. You may feel like progress is slow. But discipline returns through repetition. Each day you follow your habits, even in small ways, you rebuild your strength. Patience allows you to continue even when you do not see quick results. When you are patient with yourself, you create a safe space to grow. In the end, rebuilding discipline after failure is one of the most important skills you will ever learn. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you self-respect. It teaches you commitment. When you learn to rise after falling, you become unstoppable. You realize that failure is not the end. It is part of the journey. It shapes you, strengthens you, and prepares you for greater success.
Long-term discipline is not about never falling. It is about rising every time you do. It is about choosing growth over guilt, clarity over confusion, and persistence over perfection. When you master the art of rebuilding, discipline becomes a permanent part of who you are. Chapter 2. Why We Lose Discipline. New expanded version. Even when people want to improve their lives, even when they have clear dreams and big goals, discipline often fades. Someone wakes up one morning feeling motivated, ready to change everything. They promise themselves they will study harder, exercise more, control their emotions, save money, and live differently. But after a few days, the motivation weakens. Old habits return. The person begins to feel frustrated, confused, or disappointed. This is one of the most common human experiences. Almost everyone struggles with consistency at some point. To build real discipline, you must understand why discipline disappears in the first place. When you understand the roots of the problem, you can fix them with confidence instead of blaming yourself. One of the biggest reasons discipline fades is the human brain's natural resistance to effort. The brain was designed to help you survive, not to make you successful or productive.
For thousands of years, humans had to save energy to stay alive. Resting and choosing the easy path helped our ancestors conserve energy for hunting, danger, or escape. Even today, your brain still prefers comfort over effort. That is why studying feels difficult at first, why waking up early feels painful, and why exercising requires mental strength. It is not because you are weak, it is because your brain is trying to protect you by choosing comfort. Discipline means teaching your brain that effort is safe, useful, and necessary for your future. Another powerful reason people lose discipline is unrealistic expectations. Many people expect fast results. They want their grades to improve immediately, their body to change in a week, their savings to grow quickly, or their focus to improve instantly. But real results come slowly. Slow results feel discouraging because the brain enjoys quick rewards. Likes, messages, videos, snacks, entertainment. These fast pleasures train the brain to lose patience. When discipline does not give immediate rewards, the brain becomes bored and tries to escape. Understanding this helps you build patience. When you accept that progress takes time, discipline becomes easier to maintain.
One of the invisible enemies of discipline is stress. When you feel stressed, your brain goes into survival mode. In survival mode, you have less ability to think clearly, plan ahead, or control your habits. Stress makes your mind jump from one problem to another. It pushes discipline aside and focuses only on relief. This is why stressed students procrastinate, busy people skip healthy habits, and overwhelmed individuals lose consistency. The problem is not lack of discipline, it is lack of emotional space. Reducing stress through rest, planning, or emotional control makes discipline possible again. Discipline also disappears because of mental overload. When your mind is full of too many tasks, too many worries, or too many responsibilities, it becomes overwhelmed. Overwhelmed leads to paralysis. You want to do everything, but you end up doing nothing. This is a very common experience. The brain cannot handle too much at once. Discipline grows when you simplify your tasks, break goals into smaller steps, and focus on one thing at a time. When your mind is clear, your discipline becomes stronger. Another reason discipline fades is lack of clarity. If your goals are not specific, your actions will not be consistent. Saying, "I want to improve my life," or "I want to be healthy," sounds good, but it gives your mind nothing to follow. Clear goals create direction. I will study 30 minutes every day. I will walk 10 minutes every morning. I will save $10 every week. When your goal is simple and specific, your brain knows exactly what to do. But when your goal is vague, discipline becomes confused and disappears. Discipline also weakens because of procrastination, a habit that millions struggle with. Procrastination is not laziness, it is avoidance. When something feels boring, stressful, or overwhelming, your brain avoids it to protect you from discomfort. That is why you suddenly feel too tired, too busy, or not in the mood. These feelings are tricks created by your brain to escape difficult tasks. The problem is not the task itself, it is the emotional weight attached to it. Understanding this helps you reduce procrastination by making tasks smaller, easier, and less emotionally heavy. A major enemy of discipline in the modern world is distraction. Phones, apps, notifications, short videos, and social media are designed to steal your attention. Every time you get distracted, your focus resets. This makes it harder to return to your task. Over time, distractions weaken your ability to concentrate, and concentration is the heart of discipline. Many people think they have no discipline, but the truth is their environment is full of traps. Reducing distractions, especially digital ones, immediately strengthens discipline because it gives your brain space to focus.
Another reason people lose discipline is lack of emotional discipline. When your emotions are strong, anger, sadness, fear, boredom, it becomes difficult to stay consistent. Emotions drain energy. When you are emotionally heavy, discipline feels impossible. This is why emotional discipline from Chapter 8 is essential. When you can manage your emotions, you can protect your discipline.
When emotions control you, discipline collapses. People also lose discipline because they try to change too much at once. They attempt to transform their entire life in 1 week. They create huge goals and strict routines. At first, motivation pushes them. But when motivation fades, the routine collapses because it is too heavy. True discipline is built slowly. Changing one habit at a time is more powerful than changing everything at once. When you understand your limits, you avoid burnout and create sustainable habits. Another subtle reason discipline fades is lack of sleep. A tired mind cannot focus. A tired brain becomes emotional, impatient, and easily stressed. Without sleep, discipline becomes almost impossible. Many people believe they have a discipline problem when in reality they have a sleep problem. Rest is not separate from discipline. Rest is part of discipline. A rested brain can think clearly, control emotions, and stay consistent. Discipline also disappears because people do not have systems. A system is a structure that makes your habits easier. For example, setting your clothes out the night before makes waking early easier. Preparing your study materials makes studying easier. Planning your meals makes healthy eating easier. Without systems, discipline relies only on willpower. But willpower is temporary. Systems make discipline automatic. Another major reason people lose discipline is peer influence. When you spend time with people who complain, waste time, or avoid responsibility, their habits influence you. You begin to behave like them without noticing. Humans naturally copy the people around them. To protect your discipline, you must be aware of your environment. Spending time with disciplined, positive, or focused individuals strengthens your mindset.
Finally, people lose discipline because they expect themselves to be perfect. When they make a mistake, they feel guilty. When they skip a day, they feel ashamed. When they break a habit, they think everything is ruined. This all-or-nothing mindset is destructive. Discipline is not perfection. Discipline is the ability to restart. The most disciplined people in the world fail often. They simply recover quickly. Understanding why discipline disappears gives you power. You stop blaming yourself. You stop feeling ashamed. You stop believing you are weak. Instead, you begin to understand that discipline is like a muscle. It grows, gets tired, breaks, and rebuilds. Every time you lose discipline, you learn something new about yourself. You learn what triggers you, what distracts you, what overwhelms you. With this knowledge, you can build stronger routines, better environments, and more realistic plans. Discipline is not destroyed by one big mistake. It is destroyed by misunderstanding. When you finally understand why discipline fades, you gain the ability to rebuild it, protect it, and strengthen it. Chapter 13. The Discipline of Building Your Future. Your future is not something that happens by accident. It is something you build, shape, and design through the choices you make today. Every disciplined action you take becomes a brick in the foundation of your future life. Every moment of consistency becomes a step toward the person you want to become. Many people think the future is controlled by luck, talent, or fate. But the truth is more empowering. Your future is controlled by your discipline. In this chapter, we will explore how discipline creates opportunity, how your daily habits shape your future, and how you can consciously design the life you want, one decision at a time. The first idea to understand is that the future rewards preparation, not wishes. Many people dream of success, good health, strong relationships, financial stability, confidence, and personal growth. But dreams without discipline remain only dreams. Discipline turns dreams into plans and plans into reality. When you prepare yourself through study, practice, and daily habits, you make your future easier. When you avoid preparation, your future becomes heavier. The future will always come, but it is your choice whether it arrives as a reward or a burden. Discipline is the difference. A key principle of building your future is understanding that small daily choices matter more than big decisions.
People often believe that their future will be decided by one big moment, one exam, one chance, one opportunity. But your future is actually created through tiny decisions repeated thousands of times. Choosing to study for 20 minutes instead of doing nothing. Choosing to walk for 10 minutes instead of scrolling. Choosing to save a little instead of spending everything. Choosing to speak kindly instead of with anger. These small decisions shape your habits. Your habits shape your future. The most successful people are not those who take one big step. They're the ones who take many small steps consistently. Another powerful element in building your future is having a long-term vision. This vision is a picture in your mind of who you want to be in 5, 10, or 20 years. Without vision, your discipline becomes confused. With vision, your discipline becomes powerful. A clear vision answers important questions. Who do I want to become? What kind of life do I want? What habits do I want to have? What skills must I learn? What values do I want to follow? When you know where you want to go, every disciplined action becomes meaningful. You no longer do things just because you should. You do them because each action brings you closer to your vision.
But building your future is not just about knowing what you want. It is also about knowing what you do not want. Many people suffer because they keep repeating habits that damage their future. They waste too much time, ignore the responsibilities, surround themselves with negative influences, or avoid necessary challenges. A disciplined person learns to protect their future by saying no to habits that steal time, energy, and confidence. Your future depends as much on what you avoid as on what you pursue. Another important part of designing your future is skill building. Skills are tools that increase your opportunities. The more skills you have, communication, problem solving, emotional control, financial literacy, studying, leadership, the more doors open for you. But skills do not grow automatically. They grow through intentional practice. Every time you learn something new or repeat a useful habit, you are investing in your future self. Discipline turns skill building into a lifelong process. The more you learn, the more powerful your future becomes. To build your future effectively, you must also understand the discipline of delayed gratification. This means choosing long-term rewards over short-term pleasure. This is one of the hardest forms of discipline because the modern world constantly invites you to enjoy now and worry later. But a disciplined person thinks ahead. They understand that every pleasure has a price and every sacrifice has a reward. Studying today leads to freedom tomorrow. Saving money today leads to security tomorrow. Exercising today leads to health tomorrow. Your future depends on your ability to delay gratification and choose what is best for you in the long run. Another powerful truth in shaping your future is that opportunities come to those who are prepared to receive them. Sometimes life gives you a chance, a job, a relationship, a business idea, a scholarship, an unexpected opening. But if you are not ready, the opportunity passes. Preparation does not guarantee opportunity, but lack of preparation guarantees failure. Discipline prepares you for the moment when your chance arrives. You may not know when or how, but discipline ensures that you will be ready when it does.
The discipline of building your future also involves recovering quickly from setbacks. No journey is smooth. You will face failures, disappointments, changes, and unexpected obstacles. Many people give up when they face difficulty, but a disciplined person learns to adapt, adjust, and continue. They do not take setbacks personally. They see them as lessons. They understand that the path to success is not a straight line, but a series of challenges that strengthen them. Every time you rise after falling, you become a stronger version of yourself, more prepared, more confident, and more disciplined. Another essential piece of building your future is surrounding yourself with the right people. The people you spend time with influence your mindset, your habits, and your direction. Positive, disciplined, ambitious people lift you up. Negative, lazy, or unfocused people pull you backward. A disciplined person chooses relationships that support growth. They avoid people who constantly complain, discourage them, or waste their time. Your environment is a powerful builder or destroyer of your future. Choose it wisely. The future also depends on the discipline of consistent self-improvement. This means always looking for ways to become a better version of yourself, even in small ways. It means reading, learning, reflecting, and correcting mistakes. It means asking yourself honest questions. What can I improve? What habit can I strengthen? What weakness can I turn into a strength? Self-improvement is not about being perfect. It is about being better than you were yesterday. If you improve 1% each day, your future will transform completely. Another key element is responsibility. Taking responsibility for your life, your actions, your time, your habits, your choices is one of the highest forms of discipline. People who blame others or blame circumstances give away their power. But people who take responsibility gain control. They understand that even if they cannot control everything around them, they can always control how they respond. Responsibility gives you the power to shape your future instead of waiting for someone else to shape it for you. A disciplined future also requires consistency, not intensity. Many people start with high effort, studying for hours, exercising intensely, setting big goals. But they fail because they cannot maintain that level for long. Consistency means showing up daily, even in small ways. Small effort over a long time beats big effort for a short time. A tree does not grow in one day. It grows through tiny daily progress. Your future works the same way.
Another important truth is that building your future means choosing growth over comfort. Comfort feels good now, but it often leads to regret later. Growth feels challenging now, but it leads to strength later. The future belongs to those who choose growth, not because it is easy, but because it is meaningful. Every challenge you face today prepares you for tomorrow's opportunities. Finally, the discipline of building your future requires faith in yourself. Faith means believing in your potential, even when you cannot yet see it. It means trusting the process. It means knowing that every disciplined action is shaping something great. You may not see immediate results, but you are planting seeds that will grow. A disciplined person believes that their effort has value, even when progress is slow. This belief is what keeps them moving forward. In the end, the future is not something you wait for. It is something you create. You build it through your habits, your mindset, your actions, your choices, and your discipline. Every day gives you a chance to invest in the future you want. Every disciplined moment pushes you closer to your dreams. Your future is not far. It is shaped right now in the present by the choices you make today.
Chapter 14. The Discipline of Consistency. Turning actions into a lifestyle. Many people think discipline is about effort, strength, or willpower, but the true secret behind every success story is consistency. Consistency is the quiet, steady force that transforms small actions into big results, simple routines into powerful habits, and ordinary people into extraordinary individuals. Without consistency, even the smartest ideas and strongest plans fall apart. With consistency, even small efforts create a future of success, stability, and confidence. In this chapter, we will explore what consistency truly means, why it is so difficult for many people, and how you can build a level of consistency that becomes part of your identity. The first thing to understand is that consistency is not about doing something perfectly every day. It is about doing something regularly enough that it begins to feel natural. It is about returning again and again,
even after you miss a day or experience a setback. Consistency does not require perfection, it requires persistence. Many people fail because they chase perfection. The moment they break a habit, they give up. But consistency allows room for mistakes. It teaches you that missing one day means nothing if you show up the next day. This mindset removes pressure and builds resilience. When you understand that consistency is about long-term patterns, not short-term perfection, you begin to see discipline as a lifestyle rather than a temporary effort. Another important truth is that consistency is difficult for many people because they expect results too quickly. When they do not see progress fast enough, they become discouraged. They say, "Why am I not improving? Why hasn't anything changed?" But consistency teaches you that progress happens slowly, quietly, and invisibly at first. A seed does not grow into a tree in 1 week. A skill does not develop after one attempt. A habit does not form after one day. Consistency requires patience, and patience requires emotional strength. You must trust the process even when you cannot see the results yet. When you understand that small actions repeated over time create massive change, consistency becomes easier to maintain.
Many people lose consistency because they rely too much on motivation. Motivation is like a spark, bright but short-lived. It can help you start, but it cannot help you continue. Consistency is built on routine, not motivation. When something becomes part of your daily rhythm, you no longer ask yourself whether you should do it. You simply do it. This is why disciplined people design routines that support their goals. They remove the need for decision-making. Decision-making drains energy, and when energy is low, discipline fades. But routines remove the need for constant decisions, making consistency more natural. Another powerful idea is that consistency grows when you lower the difficulty of starting. Many people struggle because they set goals that are too big. For example, they decide to study for 2 hours every day, exercise for an hour, or read an entire book each week. These goals are admirable, but they require a lot of energy and willpower. When life becomes busy, these goals become overwhelming. The solution is to simplify your goals. Study for 10 minutes. Walk for 5 minutes. Read 1 page. These small actions feel too easy to fail, and once you begin, momentum naturally carries you forward. This is the magic of consistency. The smaller the starting point, the more likely you are to continue. The mistake most people make is trying to be strong instead of trying to be smart. Small steps create sustainable discipline. Consistency is also deeply connected to identity. When you think of yourself as someone who tries, you will act like someone who tries. But when you see yourself as someone who follows through, your actions naturally match that identity. Identity is powerful because it shapes your behavior without effort. Every consistent action, no matter how small, strengthens this identity. When you say, "I am a person who shows up," "I am a person who practices," or "I am a person who takes care of my future," your mind begins to support your discipline instead of resisting it.
A major reason people lose consistency is because they forget why they started. Without a strong why, discipline becomes mechanical and boring. But when you connect your actions to your future, to your dreams, your goals, your growth, consistency becomes meaningful. Before starting any habit, ask yourself, why is this important to me? What future will this habit create? Who will I become if I stay consistent? When your why is strong, your discipline becomes unstoppable. Your purpose gives you energy on days when motivation is weak. Another factor that affects consistency is your environment. Your surroundings either support your discipline or destroy it. A phone near your bed makes waking up difficult. A messy desk makes studying harder. Unhealthy snacks make clean eating harder. Negative people make growth harder. Consistency becomes easy when your environment is designed for success. This may mean organizing your study space, preparing workout clothes in advance, removing distractions, or spending more time with disciplined people.
Change your environment and your consistency will grow naturally. To stay consistent long-term, you must also practice self-compassion. This means being kind to yourself when you struggle. Many people quit when they make a mistake because they think mistakes mean failure. But disciplined people understand that mistakes are part of progress. Instead of punishing themselves, they restart with a clean mind. Consistency grows in an environment of patience, not punishment. You cannot force yourself into long-term discipline. You must guide yourself there with understanding and persistence. Another powerful part of consistency is tracking your habits. When you track your progress, even in simple ways like checking a box each day, you create a visual record of your effort. This builds momentum. Your brain sees the progress and wants to continue. This is called the "don't break the chain" method. When you see many days in a row of completed habits, you feel motivated to keep the chain unbroken. Tracking turns invisible progress into visible motivation. Consistency also requires saying no. No to distractions, no to excuses, no to unhealthy habits, no to unnecessary noise. Every time you say no to something that steals your time or energy, you are saying yes to your future. Consistency is not only about what you do, it is also about what you avoid. You must protect your routines the way you protect something valuable. Discipline is a form of self-respect, and consistency is the expression of that respect.
Another powerful idea is that consistency becomes easier when you attach habits to existing routines. For example, after brushing your teeth, review your notes. After eating lunch, walk for 5 minutes. After waking up, drink water. These are called habit anchors. Anchoring new habits to old ones makes them easier to remember and follow. This is one of the simplest and smartest ways to build consistency without relying on motivation. Consistency also requires managing your energy, not just your time. Some people try to force themselves to work when they are exhausted. This destroys discipline. Consistency grows when you understand your natural rhythms, when you focus during your high energy periods and rest during your low energy periods. You must know yourself. When do you focus best? What habits drain you? What habits energize you? The more you understand your energy, the easier consistency becomes. Another important part of consistency is celebrating small victories. Every small step forward is a win. When you complete a habit, even a tiny one, pause and recognize your effort. Celebration reinforces consistency. It makes you feel proud, capable, and motivated. It tells your brain, this action is valuable. Over time, your mind begins to crave the feeling of progress. Finally, consistency requires long-term thinking. You must understand that true transformation happens slowly. Your future is built through months of small, steady improvements. Consistency is the bridge between your present and your dreams. When you think long-term, you stop chasing quick results and start building lasting habits. You stop asking, how fast can I change, and start asking, how deeply can I change? Long-term thinking gives you patience, and patience gives you power. In the end, consistency is not just a skill, it is a lifestyle. It is the invisible engine behind every achievement, every improvement, every transformation. When you become consistent, you become unstoppable. You no longer depend on motivation or perfect conditions. You rely on discipline, identity, and purpose. Consistency turns effort into success, choices into habits, and habits into a better future. Consistency is the quiet force that builds your life, one day, one action, one decision at a time.
Chapter 15. The Discipline of Never Giving Up. There is a powerful truth that many people forget. Success does not always belong to the fastest, the smartest, or the strongest. Very often, success belongs to the person who refuses to give up. Discipline is not only about routines, habits, time management, or focus. It is also about persistence. It is the quiet, steady decision to continue when others stop. It is the ability to rise after every fall, to restart after every failure, and to remain committed even when progress feels slow. In this chapter, we will explore the discipline of perseverance, the discipline of never giving up, and how it becomes the engine that drives you toward the life you want. The first important idea is that everyone fails, even the most successful people in the world. Many students believe that people who achieve great things never struggled, never made mistakes, and never faced setbacks. But the truth is the opposite. Successful people fail more than others, but they also rise more than others. They experience frustration, disappointment, and doubt, just like everyone else, but they do not allow those feelings to end their journey. They see failure not as the opposite of success, but as part of the path to success. When you understand this, failure becomes less scary and discipline becomes easier to maintain.
One of the reasons people give up is because they expect progress to be quick and easy. They start a goal with excitement, imagining fast improvements, but when progress is slow, they lose motivation. They think, this is not working, or maybe I'm not good enough. But progress in the real world is almost always slow. Skill building, fitness, studying, saving money, improving relationships, and developing new habits all take time. The beginning is often the hardest part because results are invisible. You are working hard, but you do not see the reward yet. The discipline of never giving up means trusting the process, even when you cannot see the results immediately. It means understanding that the seed is growing underground before it ever appears above the soil. Another reason people quit is the presence of obstacles. Life is full of them. Unexpected problems, failures, emotional challenges, stress, and distractions. These obstacles create doubt. They make you question your abilities and your goals. But obstacles do not mean you are going in the wrong direction. They are part of every meaningful journey. Think of any road toward success as a mountain. If the path is difficult, it means you are climbing higher. A flat path often leads nowhere. The discipline of never giving up is about pushing through difficulties, knowing that challenges are shaping you into a stronger and more capable person.
A powerful tool for perseverance is breaking big goals into small steps. Many people quit because they look at the whole mountain and feel overwhelmed. But when you break your goal into small, manageable steps, the journey becomes easier. Instead of focusing on the final result, focus on the next small action. Study 1 page. Walk 5 minutes. Save a small amount. Clean 1 corner of your room. Learn 1 new word. When you complete small steps consistently, you build confidence. Confidence builds momentum, and momentum strengthens discipline. Another important principle of never giving up is learning from mistakes instead of repeating them. Mistakes are valuable teachers. They show you what is not working. They give you clues on how to improve, but only if you are willing to learn. Many people repeat the same mistakes because they rush, avoid reflection, or feel too ashamed to analyze their failures. A disciplined person examines their mistakes calmly. They ask, what caused this problem? What can I change next time? What did I learn from this? This process turns every failure into a lesson. When you learn from mistakes, you turn your setbacks into progress. Emotional control plays a huge role in perseverance. Many people quit because of emotions, frustration, fear, insecurity, or boredom. Emotions change quickly, but goals remain the same. If you allow temporary emotions to control permanent goals, you will quit often. The discipline of never giving up means managing your emotions and not allowing them to control your decisions. It means continuing even when you do not feel like it. Feelings come and go, but your actions shape your future. Another important part of perseverance is creating a strong why. Your why is the reason behind your goal.
It is the emotional engine that pushes you forward during hard times. When you know why your goal matters, giving up becomes harder. Ask yourself, why do I want this? How will my life improve if I continue? Who will I become if I succeed? A strong why gives you meaning. Meaning gives you strength. With meaning, discipline becomes deeper and more powerful. Another powerful practice is celebrating small victories. Many people wait until the end of a long journey to celebrate, but small victories matter. Finishing a study session, completing a workout, reaching a small savings target, or controlling your emotions in a difficult moment. These are all wins. When you celebrate them, even in simple ways, you tell your brain that effort is valuable. This increases motivation and strengthens your perseverance. To develop the discipline of never giving up, you also need patience. Patience is not just waiting, it is waiting with a positive attitude. It is understanding that some goals require time, that growth is not always visible, and that success is built slowly. Impatient people quit easily because they confuse slow progress with no progress. But disciplined people understand that slow progress is still progress. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Another important part of perseverance is consistency, not intensity. Many people try to push themselves too hard in the beginning, only to burn out quickly. Burnout leads to quitting. But when you take small, steady steps, you build a sustainable rhythm that can last for months or even years. Consistency protects you from exhaustion. It allows discipline to become part of your identity. When something becomes part of your identity, quitting becomes difficult. You must also be aware of the influence of your environment. If you surround yourself with people who quit easily, complain often, or discourage you, your own perseverance becomes weaker. But if you surround yourself with people who are disciplined, hardworking, and persistent, you absorb their strength. A supportive environment makes it easier to keep going during hard times. You do not need many people. Just one or two supportive individuals can make a big difference in your discipline. The discipline of never giving up also requires self-belief. Belief is not about thinking you are perfect or always strong. It is about trusting that you can grow, adapt, learn, and improve. It is about understanding that your potential is much bigger than you think. When you believe in your ability to improve, challenges no longer feel like walls. They feel like steps. Self-belief fuels perseverance, especially during moments when everything feels difficult. Another important idea is that perseverance requires flexibility, not stubbornness. Sometimes the goal is right, but the method is wrong. Sometimes you need to change your strategy, not your dream. Flexible people stay open to new ways of doing things. They adjust their approach instead of giving up entirely. This kind of flexibility protects your goals from unnecessary failure. It keeps your discipline alive. Finally, the discipline of never giving up is connected to hope. Hope is the belief that a better future is possible. Hope gives energy. Hope pushes you forward. Hope is not blind optimism. It is the calm knowledge that your effort will eventually create change. Even in difficult times, hope keeps your discipline alive. In the end, the discipline of never giving up is one of the greatest skills you can develop. It turns ordinary people into leaders, dreamers into achievers, and small daily efforts into lifelong success. When you refuse to give up, you become unstoppable. You may move slowly, you may struggle, you may feel tired, but you keep going. And that is what builds your future. Success is not always about being the best. It is about being the one who continues long after others have stopped. Chapter 16. The discipline of building strong habits that last. Habits are the invisible architecture of your life. They shape your mornings, your evenings, your decisions, your behavior, your results, and ultimately, your future. You may not always notice your habits, but they are constantly shaping who you are becoming. If your habits are strong, healthy, and aligned with your dreams, your life moves forward smoothly. If your habits are weak, chaotic, or destructive, your life becomes unstable and unpredictable.
This is why discipline and habits are so deeply connected. Discipline builds habits, and habits maintain discipline. In this chapter, we will explore how habits are formed, why some habits stick while others fade, and how you can create strong habits that last for years. To understand habit building, you must first understand the habit loop, a cycle made of three parts: cue, action, reward. The cue is the trigger that tells your brain it is time to perform the habit. The action is the behavior itself. The reward is what your brain receives after performing the habit. For example, you feel tired. Cue. You drink coffee. Action. You feel alert. Reward. You wake up. Cue. You check your phone. Action. You feel stimulated. Reward. Your brain repeats habits because it likes the reward. Understanding this loop allows you to design habits intentionally instead of letting them form by accident. With discipline, you can create cues that support good habits and eliminate cues that trigger bad ones. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to change too many habits at once. They feel motivated and decide to transform their entire life in 1 week. They create long routines, strict rules, and big expectations. But motivation fades quickly, and when it disappears, the routine collapses. Real habit building is slow and steady. You must start with one small habit, not 10, and you must make that habit so easy that you cannot fail. This is called the 2-minute rule. Any habit should take less than 2 minutes to start. Instead of study 1 hour, start with open my notebook. Instead of read 50 pages, start with read 1 page. Instead of exercise 30 minutes, start with stretch for 2 minutes. These small actions build the foundation for bigger habits. When you remove resistance, your brain accepts the habit more easily. Once the small version becomes automatic, you can slowly expand it.
Another important truth is that habits strengthen through repetition, not intensity. A small habit repeated 100 times is more powerful than a big habit repeated twice. Many people focus on effort, but real change comes from frequency. When you do something again and again, your brain rewires itself. It creates a mental shortcut that makes the habit easier and faster each time. This is why consistency is at the heart of discipline. You do not need to be perfect, just consistent. To build strong habits, you must also create an environment that supports them. Your environment is more powerful than your willpower. If your room is messy, you will avoid studying. If your phone is nearby, you will get distracted. If unhealthy snacks are everywhere, you will eat them. But if your environment is designed carefully, good habits become natural. Keep your books visible. Place your water bottle where you can see it. Prepare your clothes the night before. Put your phone far away during work. Remove distractions from your study area. Small changes in your environment create big changes in your habits. A disciplined person designs their surroundings to support their goals. Another powerful method for building habits is habit stacking, attaching a new habit to an existing one. This makes the new habit easier to remember because it piggybacks on something you already do daily. After brushing your teeth, review a summary. After eating lunch, take a 5-minute walk. After waking up, drink a glass of water. After finishing homework, read 1 page of a book. Habit stacking is one of the easiest ways to build long-term consistency because it connects your new behavior to an automatic cue. A major reason habits fail is because people do not track them. When you track your habits, you create awareness and motivation. A simple habit tracker, a notebook, a calendar, or an app helps you visualize your progress. Every day you complete the habit, you mark it. Over time, you create a chain of streaks. Your brain becomes motivated not to break the chain. This visual progress builds momentum and makes discipline easier. Tracking also shows you patterns, days when you struggle, factors that affect your consistency, and areas that need improvement.
Another important part of building lasting habits is rewarding yourself. A habit becomes permanent when your brain associates it with something positive.
Rewards do not need to be big. They can be as simple as a moment of pride, a check mark on a calendar, a short break, or something you enjoy. The reward tells your brain, this habit is valuable. Without rewards, habits feel empty and mechanical. With rewards, habits feel meaningful and enjoyable. People often lose discipline because they believe good habits should feel easy or always enjoyable. But strong habits require effort, especially in the beginning. The first stage of habit building is uncomfortable. The second stage becomes manageable. The third becomes automatic. You must accept the discomfort of the first stage if you want to reach the freedom of the third. Discipline is the bridge between discomfort and automaticity. If you keep going during the early stage, the habit becomes part of your identity. Identity is one of the most powerful forces in habit building. When you see yourself as someone who reads, someone who studies, someone who exercises, someone who saves money, someone who wakes up early, your actions naturally follow. Habits do not only change your behavior, they change your self-image. And once your self-image changes, discipline becomes easier because you are simply acting like the person you believe you are. This is why affirmations like, I am a disciplined person, or I am someone who follows through, can be powerful when paired with consistent action. Another key to building lasting habits is removing temptations. If you want to stop a bad habit, make it difficult to do. If your phone distracts you, turn it off, place it in another room, or use apps that block notifications. If you want to reduce junk food, don't keep it at home. If you want to stop wasting time, remove shortcuts to distractions. Bad habits die not through willpower, but through environment control. The harder a bad habit is to perform, the faster it disappears. Habits also require resilience. Even with strong discipline, you will have days when you slip. This is normal. What matters is how quickly you return. Missing one day does not destroy a habit. Missing 2 days begins to weaken it. Missing 3 days makes restarting harder. A disciplined person never misses 2 days in a row. Even if the second day is very small, a 2-minute version of your habit, you keep the habit alive. This protects your long-term consistency. You must also understand the difference between motion and action. Motion feels like progress, planning, thinking, preparing, but it does not produce results. Action is the real habit. Many people spend too much time in motion, searching for the best workout instead of doing a simple one, planning a perfect study schedule instead of studying for 10 minutes, reading about habits instead of practicing habits. Discipline is formed through action, not motion. Start small, start imperfect, start now. Another truth about habits is that you must enjoy the journey, not only the result. If you only focus on the outcome, you will lose motivation quickly. But if you learn to enjoy the process, reading, practicing, growing, learning, your habits become rewarding in themselves. This makes them sustainable. Enjoyment strengthens discipline because it gives your habits emotional value. Finally, building strong habits requires long-term thinking. Habits may feel small today, but in 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years, they completely reshape your life. Strong habits create strong futures. Weak habits create weak futures. Every habit you develop is a vote for the person you want to become. Every day you practice your habit, you cast another vote. Over time, your votes add up and transform your identity, your confidence, and your future. In the end, habits are not just routines. They are a lifestyle. They are the hidden engine that drives success. When you build strong habits, you no longer rely on motivation. You no longer fight with yourself. Your life becomes structured, stable, and powerful. Discipline gives birth to habits, and habits protect your discipline. Together, they create a future filled with growth, strength, and purpose. Another truth about habits is that you must enjoy the journey, not only the result. If you only focus on the outcome, you will lose motivation quickly.
But if you learn to enjoy the process, reading, practicing, growing, learning, your habits become rewarding in themselves. This makes them sustainable. Enjoyment strengthens discipline because it gives your habits emotional value. Finally, building strong habits requires long-term thinking. Habits may feel small today, but in 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years, they completely reshape your life. Strong habits create strong futures. Weak habits create weak futures. Every habit you develop is a vote for the person you want to become. Every day you practice your habit, you cast another vote. Over time, your votes add up and transform your identity, your confidence, and your future. In the end, habits are not just routines. They are a lifestyle. They are the hidden engine that drives success. When you build strong habits, you no longer rely on motivation. You no longer fight with yourself. Your life becomes structured, stable, and powerful. Discipline gives birth to habits, and habits protect your discipline. Together, they create a future filled with growth, strength, and purpose.
One of the biggest barriers to self-confidence is comparing yourself to others. When you compare your progress to someone who has been practicing for years, you feel small. When you compare your weaknesses to someone else's strengths, you feel inadequate. When you compare your beginning to someone else's middle, you feel discouraged. But comparison is a trap. It steals your joy, weakens your discipline, and distracts you from your own growth. A disciplined person focuses on their own journey. They understand that everyone grows at a different pace. Your only competition is the person you were yesterday. Self-confidence also grows when you practice self-respect. Self-respect means treating yourself as someone who deserves success, health, and growth. It means keeping promises to yourself. When you tell yourself you will do something and you actually do it, your mind develops trust. This trust becomes confidence. But when you constantly break your own promises, your mind stops believing you. One of the strongest forms of discipline is honoring your own word. Even small commitments, drinking water, reading a page, studying for 5 minutes, build self-respect. And self-respect builds unshakable confidence. Another important part of confidence is accepting imperfection. Many people think they cannot be confident until they are perfect. They wait until they have the perfect skills, the perfect body, the perfect life, the perfect results. But perfection is an illusion. Confidence grows when you embrace your flaws, mistakes, and struggles. It grows when you say, I am not perfect, but I am improving. Confidence is not about being flawless. It is about being courageous. A powerful way to build confidence is through small victories. Large goals are important, but they can feel distant and overwhelming. Small victories, however, are immediate. When you complete a small task, your brain releases chemicals that make you feel capable. These small moments of success accumulate and build self-belief. This is why breaking big goals into smaller steps is so effective. Every small win strengthens your confidence and your discipline. Self-confidence also requires patience with yourself. Many people expect to improve instantly. When progress is slow, they feel frustrated and lose belief in themselves. But confidence grows slowly. Like a tree, it needs time to take root, to grow branches, to become strong. A disciplined person understands this. They allow themselves time to learn, to adjust, and to grow. They do not quit because the process takes longer than expected. They believe that slow progress is still progress.
The way you speak to yourself also plays a huge role in confidence. Your inner voice can lift you up or break you down. A disciplined mind uses language that supports growth. Instead of saying, I can't, say, I can learn. Instead of, I failed, say, I'm improving. Instead of, I'm not good at this, say, I'm getting better. Words are powerful. They shape your identity. Changing your inner language is one of the most effective ways to build confidence. Another important idea is that confidence grows through courage, not comfort. Comfort keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small. Courage pushes you into new experiences, new skills, new challenges. Every time you face something uncomfortable, you expand your ability. You grow. And with growth comes confidence. The discipline of confidence means doing things even when they scare you. Speaking, trying, learning, practicing, showing up.
Courage is the doorway to belief in yourself. Confidence also requires facing your past. Many people carry shame, mistakes, or regrets that damage their self-belief. They let old failures define their identity. But your past does not decide your future. You are not the same person you were 1 year ago, 1 month ago, or even 1 week ago. Every day you change. Every day you grow. Confidence comes when you allow yourself to evolve. When you say, "My past teaches me, but it does not limit me." A key part of self-confidence is recognizing your strengths. Everyone has strengths. Creativity, kindness, leadership, problem-solving, determination, communication, or curiosity. But many people only focus on their weaknesses. They forget that their strengths are real and valuable. A disciplined person learns to use their strengths to support their weaknesses. This balanced mindset builds confidence because it reminds you that you already have inner resources. Confidence is also strongly connected to action. You cannot think your way into confidence. Confidence comes from doing. When you take action, even when you are afraid, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Action gives you evidence. Evidence builds belief. Every time you act despite doubt, your confidence increases. This is why small actions matter so much. They create a foundation of proof for your mind. Your environment also influences your self-confidence. If you surround yourself with people who criticize you, mock your dreams, or discourage you, your confidence weakens. But if you surround yourself with people who support you, uplift you, and believe in your potential, your confidence grows. A disciplined person chooses relationships that strengthen them. They understand that confidence is easier to build when you are not constantly fighting negativity.
Another important truth is that confidence does not mean you never feel doubt. Everyone feels doubt, even successful people. Confidence means acting in spite of doubt. It means trusting that you can figure things out as you go. It means believing that you are capable of improvement. Doubt is normal. Courage is choosing to continue anyway. Finally, the discipline of self-confidence requires celebrating who you are becoming. Many people only celebrate the final result, but confident people celebrate the journey. They acknowledge their growth, their effort, their resilience. They appreciate the progress they have made, no matter how small. This builds a strong inner foundation of self-belief that lasts. In the end, self-confidence is not a personality trait. It is a discipline. It is the discipline of trusting yourself, of trying again, of rising after failure, of speaking kindly to yourself, of believing in your future. When you build self-confidence, you unlock your full potential. You stop holding yourself back. You move forward with courage. And with every step, your discipline becomes stronger, your actions become bolder, and your future becomes brighter.
Chapter 18: The Discipline of Time Management. Time is the most valuable resource you have. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose opportunities and find new ones. You can lose motivation and rediscover it. But time, once gone, never returns. How you use your time determines the quality of your life, the strength of your habits, the progress of your goals, and the direction of your future. Discipline and time management are inseparable. Without disciplined time management, even the greatest dreams collapse under procrastination and disorder. In this chapter, we will explore how to control your time, how to stay organized, how to avoid wasting precious hours, and how to build a life where every day counts. The first thing to understand is that time management does not mean controlling every minute of your day. That is impossible. Life is full of changes, surprises, and unexpected events. Time management is not about perfection, it is about intention. It means choosing how you will use your time instead of letting time slip away. It means having a clear direction and structure. It means protecting your time from distractions, excuses, and delays. When you manage your time with discipline, you create freedom, not pressure. A major part of disciplined time management is awareness, knowing where your time actually goes. Many people believe they are busy all day, but when they look closely, they discover that much of their time goes to things that do not matter.
Scrolling, chatting, worrying, overthinking, or doing small tasks that give no real benefit. To manage your time, you must first measure it. Spend 1 or 2 days noticing how you spend your hours. You will quickly see the patterns that weaken your discipline. Awareness is the first step toward change. Another important skill is prioritization, knowing which tasks matter most. Not everything in your day is equally important. Successful people do not do everything. They focus on the right things. Many people waste time because they are busy with tasks that do not bring them closer to their goals. Discipline teaches you to ask yourself, what is the most important thing I need to do today? What task will have the greatest impact on my future? What can wait? This simple mindset shift makes you more focused and more productive.
A powerful time management technique is the top 3 method. Each morning, or the night before, write down the 3 most important tasks you need to complete. Not 30, just 3. This forces your mind to focus. It removes confusion and reduces stress. When you complete your top 3 tasks, you already had a productive day, even if everything else goes wrong. Over time, this habit builds discipline, clarity, and consistent progress. Another essential element of disciplined time management is creating a routine. A routine is a structure that tells your brain what to do and when to do it. Routines make good habits automatic. They reduce decision fatigue, the exhaustion that comes from making too many choices. When you have a routine, you no longer waste time deciding when to study, when to exercise, or when to work. You simply follow your system. Even a simple routine, such as studying at the same hour daily, can transform your productivity. Time management also requires the discipline of planning ahead. Planning does not take long, just a few minutes, but it saves hours of confusion and wasted time. You can plan your day, your week, or even your month. Planning helps you prepare for deadlines, avoid last-minute stress, and balance your responsibilities. A disciplined planner asks, what must be done this week? What can I prepare in advance? What obstacles might appear and how can I handle them? Planning gives you control and confidence. One of the biggest enemies of time management is procrastination. Procrastination is not laziness, it is avoidance. It is your brain trying to escape discomfort. The task feels hard, boring, or stressful, so your brain suggests easier alternatives. But procrastination steals your time and leaves you with regret. The disciplined way to fight procrastination is to focus on starting, not finishing. Tell yourself, I will do this for 5 minutes.
I will just write 1 sentence. I will read 1 paragraph. Once you start, momentum builds naturally. The hardest part is beginning. Another major challenge is distraction, especially digital distraction. Phones, apps, notifications, messages, and endless videos are designed to steal your attention. Every time you check your phone while working, your brain loses focus and takes minutes to return to a productive state. This destroys time. A disciplined person learns to protect their focus. Turn off notifications. Put the phone out of reach. Use website blockers during study or work. Keep your environment clean and quiet. Focus is a superpower, and protecting it is part of disciplined time management. Another key idea is time blocking, dividing your day into sections and assigning each section a purpose. Time blocking keeps your day structured. It removes distractions because you know exactly what you should be doing at each moment. It also gives you permission to rest during breaks without guilt. A disciplined approach to time includes rest management. Many people think that discipline means working endlessly, but this leads to burnout. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. Rest is part of productivity. When your mind and body are rested, you will learn faster, think clearer, and finish tasks more efficiently. Rest should be planned, not random. Short breaks during work, healthy sleep, and moments of relaxation are essential for balanced discipline.
A big part of time management is learning to say no. Your time is limited, and every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that truly matters. A disciplined person protects their time by saying no to distractions, unnecessary tasks, and people who constantly interrupt their progress. Saying no is not rude, it is responsible. It is a sign of respect for your future.
Another important principle is doing the hard tasks first. This is known as eating the frog. Hard tasks drain energy if you postpone them. They sit in your mind, causing stress and guilt. But if you do them early in the day, your mind becomes free, your confidence grows, and the rest of the day feels lighter. Starting with the hardest task strengthens discipline and builds resilience. To manage your time well, you must also avoid multitasking. Multitasking is not real productivity. Your brain cannot fully focus on two tasks at once. You simply switch your attention rapidly between them, losing time and weakening the quality of your work. Discipline teaches you to do one thing at a time with full attention. This increases speed, quality, and learning. Another powerful concept is tracking your time. When you track how long tasks actually take, you learn more about yourself. You discover your patterns, when you are most focused, when you lose energy, when you get distracted. This knowledge helps you design a better schedule. Time tracking makes your discipline smarter. You must also learn the discipline of finishing. Many people start tasks enthusiastically but leave them incomplete. Unfinished tasks create mental clutter. A disciplined person finishes what they start, unless the task truly no longer helps their goals. Finishing builds confidence, order, and momentum. Finally, disciplined time management requires long-term thinking. You must understand that how you spend your days becomes how you spend your life. If you waste your days, you waste your future. If you use your days wisely, you build a strong future. Every hour is a chance to grow. Every day is a chance to improve. Time is your most valuable currency. Spend it wisely. In the end, time management is not about controlling time, it is about controlling yourself. It is about deciding what matters, staying organized, removing distractions, and using discipline to protect your hours from being wasted. When you master time management, you master your life. You create space for success, health, learning, relationships, and dreams. You build a future filled with purpose and direction. Your time is your life, and disciplined time management is how you honor it.
Conclusion. Discipline is the bridge to the life you want. Discipline is not something mysterious or reserved for a special kind of person. It is not a talent you were born with or a gift only a few receive. Discipline is a skill you learn, a choice you make, and a lifestyle you create over time. It is the quiet force behind every success, every transformation, and every dream that becomes reality. As you reach the end of this book, you now understand something that many people spend their whole lives searching for. Your future is built by the things you do every day, not by the things you do once in a while. Throughout these chapters, you have seen discipline from many angles: mental discipline, emotional discipline, physical discipline, financial discipline, relationship discipline, time discipline, and more. Each chapter taught you that discipline is not about perfection. It is not about being strong all the time. It is about being consistent, patient, and willing to continue even when you don't feel motivated. It is about choosing growth over comfort, responsibility over excuses, and action over delay. The world often teaches you to look for quick results, shortcuts, and easy paths. But nothing truly meaningful in life is built quickly. Strong habits, good health, knowledge, financial stability, emotional control, confidence, and personal growth all require time, effort, and commitment. Discipline is what makes these things possible. It gives you control in a world full of distractions. It gives you clarity in moments of confusion. It gives you strength on days when motivation disappears. One of the greatest lessons you have learned is that discipline is not a punishment. It is an act of self-respect. When you discipline yourself, you are protecting your future. You are telling yourself, I deserve success. I deserve growth. I deserve a better life. Discipline is love in action, the love you show to your future self. You have also learned that failure is not the end. Losing discipline for a moment, a day, or even a week does not mean starting over from zero. It simply means starting again. Every strong person you admire has fallen many times, but they did something important. They stood up and kept going. Discipline grows not from perfection, but from recovery. The ability to rebuild is the true sign of strength. The truth is, you already have everything you need to build the life you want. You have a mind capable of focus. You have a heart capable of courage. You have a body capable of action. You have dreams that deserve to be pursued. Discipline is the tool that brings all these parts together. It is the engine that drives you forward, the shield that protects your progress, and the compass that keeps you moving toward your goals. From this point forward, your journey continues in the real world. Every morning is a fresh opportunity to practice what you learned. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. Every small habit is a building block of your future. You do not need to take giant steps. Small daily steps will take you farther than you can imagine. A little progress each day becomes a lot of progress over time. Remember this always. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your achievements. Without discipline, dreams remain dreams. With discipline, dreams become plans, and plans become reality. Your life is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not by what you occasionally wish for. So move forward with confidence. Build your habits, protect your time, strengthen your mind, train your emotions, focus on your goals, respect your future, and no matter what happens, never stop trying, never stop improving, and never stop believing in yourself. Your future is waiting, and discipline is the key that will open every door.